Greetings, and welcome to your Friday edition of Runescape Weekly. Magebit here. Joining me today is Pyrnassius and the RRMan. It's going to be a good show. Let me go ahead and bring them into the fold here. Welcome. Don't think we have too much to deal with in the void space here. We can probably leap into the show unless anyone has any objections to that.
None at all.
Alrighty then. Let me just go ahead and grab my show intro music here and line everything up. Stand by. Da-da-da-da. We're in a new season now, and I haven't imported the music into the new season folder. Something I have to. Oh goodness!
Just give me a second to. Just give me a second. I got a chip to eat.
A little callback from the pre-show. It was a good pre-show. It was almost 2.5 hours long, by the way.
I put
Fuck,
those
these chips are
away.
These chips are fucking good.
Get it in now. Get it in now.
Okay, I'll finish this chip off.
Alright. And I'm on dock at the Rodan shipyards right now. Make myself safe. Alright. Music is good, I think, here, so I will got the new intro loaded up. New intro is just the name of the file. It's not new anymore. We've been using it for over a year at this point. Alright. Let me just pop open Spotify real quick and tell it to shut up. Alright. Let us, as they say, go. Three, two, one. It's the wrong music player. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for April 12th, 2019. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius and the RRMan. And on today's show, mini quest list, maintenance set for the 17th of April, charitable giving update, Song of Saron weekend, Jagex appear before Parliament to defend MTX, one small wiki favor, Jagex brings new hires, Jagex and the Artistic Drive, TLDW 429, free armor trimming, more stone spirit spew, dead man tourney troubles, yes, quit Jagex, why the life. You know what? I totally butchered that word. I turned a J into a Y. I don't know why. No pun intended. So I'm just gonna do it again. That is the weirdest thing ever. Like, I mean, I know I have Spanish DNA inside of me.
JK, just start again.
But I don't know. Por qué? All right. It's a good song at least. What
Great song. Great song.
Redo number. What is this? Redo number 3 at this point.
3, 2, 1, go.
Wednesdays was better when he had the absolute perfect intro and forgot to record, didn't record.
Yeah, that's true. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to RuneScape Weekly for April 12th, 2019. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius and the RRMan. On today's show, mini quest list, maintenance for the 17th of April, charitable giving update, Song of Saron weekend, Jagex appear before Parliament to defend MTX, one small wiki favor, Jagex brings new hires, Jagex and the Artistic Drive, TLDW number 429, free armor trimming, more stone spirit spew, dead man tourney troubles, just quit it Jagex, why the life refresh nerf, and no treasure hunter for noobs. Thanks for tuning in to this edition, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly. Listen to this low voice that I've got going on right here. I'm gonna rock this tenor as long as tenor is not the word that I wanted to go with, but I'm gonna rock this octave.
Baritone?
Yeah, I'm gonna rock this octave as long as possible because I can. My voice is just stuck down here because I'm sick. So this is just where I'm at, and I'm sticking down here because I like it. I don't know how.
The only advantage of being sick is the drop in your voice.
Yeah, it's great. I have no ability to like hit any high notes right now, so I'm all low notes. So I'm just gonna be all in the nice creamy low note area today. But yeah. Oh, except for that one. That was just horrible. Whatever that was. Pardon me. But we got a good creamy docket lined up for you today. I'm pretty sure. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and bring the docket onto my main screen.
I'm excited as long as you stop mentioning how creamy it is.
I'm sorry. Oh, man, you made me... aboard on dock. Aboard on dock. I gotta unload my hanger first.
Unload, cream. Okay, let's keep going.
Sorry. So how's everybody been? It's been a whole, 2 days since we did the last show? RRMan has...
Well, we didn't have RRMan, so let's hear from RRMan.
Yeah, how you doing, RRMan?
Yeah.
How you, buddy?
Pretty
good. You are the RRMan, so how are you?
Yeah, I am. That's me. Yeah, no, I've been, chasing Pyrnassius out in the wilderness, trying to be a wilderness warrior like he was, Went out there, used his loadout, everything he told me, and died in 10 minutes. 2 dudes double teamed me. 10 minutes in there. I don't know what I'm doing.
Dudes double team, yeah.
So
no, it's not.
So what happened? So what went wrong? Was it the fact that 2 dudes double teamed you? Was it the fact that you were unprepared for the situation? Like, was it just bad luck of the draw? Like, what went wrong?
I think it was luck of the draw. I think I was prepared. Pern had given me the advice. I had put my trust in Pyrnassius, and
was that
unfortunately went wrong?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, as effective as Australian internet is, I would just crumbled under the pressure.
Yeah, I think that's the... well, that's the thing is Pyrnassius, how many times did you find yourself in a 2v1 situation where you were at the disadvantage?
Not for this series. I mean, obviously back when I was doing Lava Strike Worms, it happened. Yeah. But in this series, I've faced 3 PKers in... I go out there for an hour at a time, so in 7 episodes, so 7 hours, I've had 3 PKers. So 2 deaths and one I murdered them.
That strikes me as interesting. So poor RRMan, that is really luck of the draw. Is you?
Yeah. 10 minutes in the wilderness, an hour and a half to get my salve element back.
It's wow. That's like me with the freaking going in and losing my... Yeah, I know how you feel, buddy, because...
the crystal teleport?
Yeah, that happened. It's like, but that's like, no one ever gets PK'd at stupid patch, but me. It's just like, it just never happens. So
I went out on a farming run the other day and did one of your tricks, just teleported in as because I don't have the Wilderness Warrior, the Bandit Camp info up. That's one of the blocked ones. So I've teleported in there, to do my because I've been getting some bloodweed seeds out of these creatures, so I've been planting those. I've teleported in straight in the middle of the Bandit Camp run out there, and all these PKs. I've come in. I've just seen all these players. I just ran south. I left that patch and I just went.
It's scary. It's scary when you see an active warband. You're just like, oh god.
Yeah. And there's like about 30 players there.
It's like, what are the odds? I mean, of all the times I could have teleported in, it had to be during
I immediately thought of you when that happened, but they all left me alone. I just ran south and no one chased me, so I was happy.
And I feel like generally they aren't focused on you because they want what's happening there. The only time I think they really focus on the farmers is during like the reset ones, like at reset when there's so many people there that they end up with overflow people and people are bored, so they're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill some of the farmers. I think that is the worst time to go, is basically don't do a farming run at reset, because
Yeah.
if there is a warband also, you are probably going to get PK'd. It's just a likelihood of an occurrence. At least that's been my experience.
It's funny because I didn't realize there's an actual board where the old, I think it was the old Bounty Hunter or the old Deathmatch entrance used to be that tells people recent kills in the wilderness. So I didn't realize last time, so I didn't show it, but I went out there and had a look last time, or when I found it out, and one guy, I mean, everyone's losing, 100k, 42k, 9k. There's one guy who lost 230 mil. I thought, you got scammed. But yeah, I went and checked it on the last death, and I lost 129k. But I'd made I'd made over 1.3 mil for the hour anyway, so it was no big deal. I'm just really excited when they sort of mentioned about one of the mods working on a new death system similar to the old one, and I can't wait till that comes in, because I really do think that'll revamp the wilderness, something like that.
Yeah. I was thinking about
it is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I was just saying. I was thinking about that Pern. Like, Pern's got all excited about this whole new, the whole new system. I'm thinking, this new system's going to come out. I think it's going to reduce your profits. Like, it's going to be against you.
That's right. No, and that's right. But you don't have that. Then I'll start going out in proper gear. Yes, I'm going to lose money occasionally, but I'm going to be able to defend myself when someone comes out in full T90 and I'm sitting there in T60 armor with a T90 weapon. I'm going to be able to defend myself a bit better. And at least I may not get the kill, but at least I'm going to hurt him a bit and make him use, his food and his potions and things as well. But as I said, as I was finishing up the other one, and I thought because I go out there, I just put on the penance aura so I know exactly, my hour is up. And I've gone out there and I thought, I'll just go and kill the dragon one more time before I go back. And that's the guy's just logged in as I'm halfway through the dragon. So I'm getting hit. He's got a steel titan with him. I'm getting hit by the titan, by him in T90 gear, and by the revenant dragon at the same time. It's like, you got no hope.
You're done.
The one thing I forgot to do was if I had to hit the extra save life, I forgot to hit that extra prayer. That would have saved my Salve amulet as well. But I have 3 of them in the bank anyway.
Don't mention that amulet to me. Do not mention that amulet.
Did you make a couple of them while you were there?
No, I just made the one. I'm going in with glories at the moment.
He does.
I've got to do those tasks.
He only made one.
Well, I didn't. I was halfway through the maze before I realized. I needed to bring. More. Yeah, I will know for next time. But we're not all as lucky as Pyrnassius.
No, we aren't. I mean, how could we be?
I must say though, like I'm on Pern's side. Even though I died the one time, like the hour and a half I was actually there after, I gained one of the pets, the first pet. So I'm on your tail, Pern, and I also got Wilderness Hilt or something. It's worth 950k. So
excellent.
I'm already up on the death. So like I could die 2 or 3 more times before I'm actually down on money. So hey, get out in the wilderness. It's pretty awesome.
That's it. Well, as I said, I've picked up 2 days in a row. I got one item worth 10.5 mil, and the next day an item worth 11.5 mil. So. It is fun out there, and I am surprised at how much fun I am having with it. Even with that sort of risk, you sort of got that. Is someone going to come and get me this time or not? But it is really, really fun. So, if as I said, if they do bring that new death system in, yes, it's going to cost you more money, but it's just going to be straight GP. It's not that, damn, I have to go and get a new amulet. I have to go and find this. I have to go and find that. No, just bang. It's,
have to go and get a new Salve.
But yeah, all good fun.
Good fun.
Good stuff.
All right,
shall we? Want to get into the news?
We shall do.
If you want to start off with mini quest list, I need to take a quick break. I didn't get to take a break before we started. So, Pern, if you want to start off with a mini quest list, I'm just going to quickly take a break, and I'll be right back.
I can do that. So, obviously, this week's update was the mini quest list. We've got just one big update this time. Well, actually, it's a bit on the small side. You might even call it mini. That's right. This week sees the release of Mod Stew's mini quest list. So what is the mini-quest list? From now on, mini-quests like the infamous Bar Crawl and the thrilling Fremennik sagas will now appear in their own section of the quest list. They won't have detailed quest journals, but they will each have their own overview screen, which should make it easier than ever to track your objectives and remind yourself what to do next. Upon completion of any mini quest, a certificate will appear on your screen, just like at the end of the regular quest, showing the rewards that you've earned. Tick boxes have been added to the quest tab so that it's possible to hide regular quests from the list, or if you decide you're fed up of mini quests for now, you can hide those too. The entire list of mini quests is below how many will you complete. So they've got the full Fremennik sagas, the full tales, which are the Ark, the God Wars, and Nomad, and then all the actual mini quests, which are Sheep Shearer, Witch's Potion, the Abyss, Spark Crawl, Benedict's World Tour, The Curse of Zaros, Desert Slayer Dungeon, Doric and Boric Tasks, The General Shadow, Hope Spear's Will, Hunt for Surok, Koshai's Trouble, Marjarat Memories, The Lair of Tarn, Razalor, The Lost Toys, In Memory of the Mareki, Purple Cat, Rebuilding Edgeville, One Foot in the Grave, Thieves Guild Capers, and Wandering Garl. Now, Thieves Guild Capers, most people would have already done that anyway, simply because you need to do that to get into safe cracking. A lot of those, Marjarat Memories is a very long one, but a lot of those are fun. Curse of Zaros, if anyone hasn't done that, I do have a run-through on it, so, feel free to check out my channel for that. But a lot of those little mini-quests are just little fun side things. They've got great little lore sections in them and such, so, if anyone hasn't checked out Sheep Shearer, got to check out Sheep Shearer Open. Yeah, that's the New Zealander quest, I call it.
Yeah, check it out,
But it is just a lot of fun, and you don't have to do them all at once. What I do like about having them on there now is for people like myself who just like to go through and work it out, you can do that now. Whereas before, to find these mini quests, you really had to look them up on the wiki, and you had to be careful of what you read because you could go too far ahead, and it'll give spoilers and tell you what to do next.
You had to kind of know to go looking for them too.
Yeah, I just pulled up mini quests and it gave you a list on there because that was when I was going for my my Master Quest cape. So and a lot of them I had already done, but it was really, really fun, and I do like this that they have put it on there now.
You could be a noob and be like, oh hey, this is something I can do. And now before you had to be like, oh, this is something
you had to know about.
Yeah, you had to know about them. Be like, oh, this is something I had to do. Oh, let me go back and do these. Like these used to be an afterthought. Now these can be something you willingly want to do back when they were relevant content, not an afterthought.
So as I say, if you do hate quests, well, you can just toggle them off anyway, so you never see them and never have to worry about them.
There you go. Toggle escape lives on.
Yep.
And it's one of those. It's one of those updates where it's hard to judge like how to rate it. It's like, yeah, this is awesome, but at the same time, I feel like this should have been in the game like 4, 5, 6, 8 years ago or something. You know what I mean?
But yeah, quality of life.
It's good that it's finally there.
Quality of life for sure. This is one of those things that you applaud, but this is again. I'm sorry, Eve. Every window in Eve tells me right up here. I'm in my ore hold. It tells me estimated price right in the window. Every window has an estimated price on it. I didn't have to pay for that. Like it's just built in. RuneScape charges you for that feature. Like there are tons of things like that RuneScape you'd think would be that we champion them for, but in other games are just straight up there. So
but it does cost more for the other game.
You're right. Yes, this other game is and I was thinking that because basically the way I'm paying for this game, I was thinking like at the 6 month mark, I would basically have spent like $300 for membership at 6 months just because I'm paying at the monthly rate. And I'm okay with that because there's no pop-ups telling me to buy double keys. All right. I'm sorry. Back on. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Comp Cape design update, and we did cover a bit of this on Wednesday's shows, but we'll just read through this again. As you know, we've been working with the community to redesign the Comp Cape redesign from the ground up, making it more fun to work towards and less essential to high-tier builds. If you've been following along with the design document, you'll know that we've been making some changes to the way achievements are categorized, most notably by removing the completionist category and redistributing achievements between miscellaneous and a brand new category called lore. Each category will also be split into tiers with their different rewards for each one. So, for example, here's how we've categorized the combat achievements. Tier 1, Reaper Crew, defeating every boss. Tier 2 will include the Tokar Mock, which is defeating Tokar Hawk in Obsidian Armor, constructing a Tusker Mask, defeating Virago with the Maul of Omens, defeating Nomad and looting his bounty chest in the Nomad's Mirage, doing Morvran's special challenge for the famous title. Tell us if you're angry 4, which is unlocking the Warden title, and then you've got sort of all the Saron, all the God Wars 2 rep unlocked, and conquering everyone with max rep in the heart of Gillinor. And then into Tier 3, which is their insane title, it's 1000% Talos, having the Calgarian Commander title, which is unlocking those 6 battle commendations and unlocking everything in Death's Store.
Thank you for the subscription, Bladecom. I appreciate that very much.
So we did cover a bit of that, and what I was sort of forgetting, but Tier 1 still requires you to have defeated every boss. What I was forgetting about, though, is that a lot of those, a lot of the things that were originally on Completionist Cape are now going to be passives on your character itself. So just having that cape just gives you that little bit of a bonus. I can still wear, the highest tier cape that I can earn in game. All those tiers do is give you that little bit of extra bonus. So for people who are, full on for their, for their combat, can just do that and go ahead and be fine. So, I do sort of like how they've done it, sort of thinking about it a bit more now.
I agree. I mean, the way that from the last breakdown that we kind of talked about on Wednesday's show, I was a lot more clear-headed on it now. But now looking at this, Tier 1 Reaper Crew defeat. Are they naming them now, basically?
No, they have no. This is Reaper Crew. These are just what the actual tasks are called.
Oh, these are tasks.
So
okay,
Reaper Crew is defeating every boss. Now I was like,
okay,
that still doesn't take away those group bosses. But then we've also got to think, what do you class as a group boss? I mean, technically, Next in God Wars 1 is a group boss, but so many people can solo it now.
Yes.
So how do you start differentiating? So by doing it this way, and by having all the unlocks actually on your character itself and not locked to a particular cape you're wearing, I really do applaud them and think going forward that is exactly what we need to do. And I love how they're doing it. Now, I don't think RRMan has obviously had his chance to talk about it, so I'll pause for a minute there and you can get his thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I'm just waiting and seeing it because it just changes way too often. Like every week, it changes. What I want to know is if you get the Tier 1 on any of the options they have, is that going to give you the max stats, or do you have to get to the Tier 2? Which they sort of keep changing stuff up all the time.
I believe the Tier 1, from what I heard, the Tier 1 is going to give you that bonus, and then the extra ones are just the cosmetic upgrades of it.
So so if you get Tier 1 skilling, do you get the max combat stats?
No, you'll have to have the combat one for that.
It's interesting. I don't know. I feel like that's not solving the issue they want to solve.
Yeah, you'd think the stats would come from the combat.
I do see that. I understand that.
Each tier would increase the combat stats, right?
But so basically, what they were saying, say you get the Tokar Cape, which gives you a plus 55 defense or attack bonus. By having Tier 1, that'll add a plus 11 to it for you. So you can have a plus 66. But what it also means is they can now release a cape above that Tokar Cape in the future as a boss drop. So that Tier 1 will always have a plus 11. So if you want the very best, you've got to go and kill every boss, but you can still wear the best cape in slot no matter what, as long as you've earned it or bought it off the GE. You just won't get that plus 11 bonus for having your tier 1, your tier 2, your tier 3.
Okay.
And I think that is a good way to do it. So dedicated PVMers will just sit there and go and kill every boss because that's what they want to do. They don't have to sit there and go and max divination, max fire making, and all those sort of skills that aren't useful for them in PVM, just to get that highest tier.
All right. Well, as long as that stays how it is. We'll see how we go in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I don't foresee it getting worse.
That's all we've got to say. This is a work in progress. This will be ongoing for a while, this one. So,
yeah, I mean, basically, with players deciding its fate, I don't foresee it getting more restrictive. I would only see it getting less restrictive, but that would mean a fight between the players and Jagex.
And ultimately, they've got to see the balance on it. So
I think we're in a pretty balanced spot as far as the way new stats could be dished out, with new content. Like, I really like that. I think that they've come to a really clever way as far as how they can introduce new capes in the future. Like, that kind of totally went over my head initially. That had to be kind of explained to me a couple of times.
And that was the beauty of it, because now we're going to be able to open up a lot more rewards in the game. We can have rewards from quests that they don't have to be tied to the max cape, because you'll unlock them on your actual character.
It's been so long since I've cared about capes. Like, that concept makes me kind of excited again.
Because there's no cape that's interesting other than max cape for people, or comp cape.
Like, that would be awesome to be excited about another cape again.
You imagine the next boss comes out now has a cape that's got level 57, because the last one had level 56. They only have to have 1 or 2 extra points on it for it to become the best in slot, and that just opens up a whole new range of equipment drops and such. We don't just have to worry about a chest plate or legs, all that type of stuff now. But you've just opened up a whole new tier of gear that you can actually aim for and create and drop out there. So I really love what they're doing.
This is definitely the right track. I'm obviously, we're going to continue following this and see where it goes.
Yep.
Yeah. Just get
there's still a lot of people angry with this. Go ahead.
Oh, of course. You're never going to satisfy everyone.
It's not even like it's an angry thing. It's it's more of a fear. Like, I'm just worried that it just ends up getting crushed and crushed and crushed until it just doesn't happen. But I think I'm thinking at this point they're finally getting there. Like, the first few weeks it was very confusing, and I think they're pulling it down. I just hope that I hope it doesn't get fully cut. I would be so disappointed.
No. I don't think you'll get much cut out of it. And in the achievements one, I want to see a hell of a lot more achievements added to those ones to give me a goal to go for. I don't care if they put them on insane, but just to be able to unlock achievements, because that's what I like to go for. But it's going to be really good, but it will take time.
Blake on saying one of the issues would be possibly stats on release, maybe being a major downgrade from the current comp cape stat-wise. Possibly something that they'd be looking at, but right now, it would be an issue.
No, because I think if you've already got the Reaper title, I think that's one of the things they were talking. You can wear the cape you get from the fight kiln, and you have that plus 11. It'll actually take it above what the current comp cape is now anyway.
I'm also wondering if bringing the floor down is a trajectory for raising the ceiling. Just a thought. I don't know, but lowering the floor so you can raise the ceiling. Anyway, they're also blabbing about the May Aura sale, and then what else is going on here?
That starts off for all of May. That goes for the new weekly Screenies competition. You can win prizes there. If you've been following on Facebook and Twitter accounts in the past 2 weeks, you might have noticed that we are now putting our content creators under the spotlight with the hashtag RuneScape Screenies highlight. Since then, lots of you have been sharing even more of your memories of adventures in Gielinor, and we thought it would be nice to give you something in return. That's why, as of today, the weekly RuneScape Screenies is evolving into a competition. Each week, we will select 4 of the best screenshots we've seen shared by the community on socials, and one of them will be designated as a winner of a bond. So basically, all you have to do is take a screenshot of your adventures in Gielinor, share them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and tag Jagex in it so that they can spot the entry, and then away you go. Lootscape for their Twitch streams. They've added a Bonanza package for your player-owned farm, courtesy of Granny Potterington. In addition, they have brought back some of your favourite goodies, skilling outfit pieces, and the Twitch-exclusive Loot's Cape and Nature's Balance, the main hand sword override. So guaranteed you'll get between 10 and 100 player-owned farm beans, a name reroller or a trait reroller, a random animal for your farm, a guaranteed drop from the basic drop table, and a view counter goes up on orb. The chance-based is 1 random skilling outfit piece if unknown, and either the Nature's Balance or Loot Cape if you don't own those.
Bada bam.
Yep. So obviously we've already missed the content showcase of Elite Dungeons 3, which happened on Tuesday. This Sunday, PVM with Mod Lee.
Yep. All right. We got a bunch of maintenance coming up as well on the 17th of April. So watch out for that. It's going to be affecting the font. A lot of worlds. Just be careful on the 17th of April from 8 in the morning game time. Basically all day. Says fret not, players will be able to continue to play on the worlds in other locations throughout the downtime. We really appreciate your patience. We realize it may not be ideal to play on other game worlds, but too bad.
At least they leave other game worlds up for you to play on. A lot of games will just shut down entirely. So
yeah, that's very true. Yeah. That's very true. Sometimes PlanetSide goes down, and that's it. Continuing along here. Yeah, so I want to get in there.
Oh, so what about Eve? What if Eve goes down?
Yeah, if Eve goes down, that's it. There's only one server. It's Tranquility. That's it.
Yeah, so you're pretty much bugged?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's only one server. And Eve restarts once a day as well.
Wow.
But here's a funny thing. I learned this last night. I think I told you this in the pre-show. There's no logout timer in Eve. I left Eve running last night by accident, figuring it would just log out due to inactivity. Came back this morning. Ship was just running, humming, just chilling in the space station, and just still hanging out. I was like, holy crap. No logout timer.
So can you sit there and click on your mining spot and just walk away for a few hours?
You can, yeah. I mean, you literally can. You can AFK indefinitely in this game, yes.
Wow. No, I'm sticking to my game.
Yeah, but anyway, when the maintenance happens, come to the New Zealand World 12. It's not offline. Come check us out. We got the good internet.
I'll tell you about
and you can go and PK the
RRMan. Salve. I've titled this episode RRMan Salve. What is it? Salve Warrior, I believe.
Salve Warrior, Salty Amulet Warrior, something like that.
Salve Amulet Warrior. Yes, thank you. So here we have the charitable giving update. This is from the 11th of April. It says, it's been a while since we've updated you on our charitable giving work, so let's take a look on what's been happening at Jagex and what plans we have for the years ahead. We wanted to thank you all for your absolutely incredible work at our 3 mental health charity partners over the last 2 years, the Princess Trust, CPSL Mind, and YMCA right here. Together, we raised a stunning £316,377,000, which equals $412,000, more than we've ever raised before, and we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you ever so much. These funds, along with over 600 hours of Jagex staff time, have allowed us to fund mental health first aid training for over 350 Prince's Trust frontline staff, part fund a mental health counselor at the Prince's Trust Fairbridge Center, run training programs at Jagex for around 40 Prince's Trust young people, collaborate on and fund the largest and most successful campaign on CPSL Minds organizations have ever run Stop Suicide, help YMCA Right Here to grow their social media awareness campaigns, have fund AV equipment so the YMCA Right Here can create their own material. In addition, for Game Blast 2018, you raised £100,000, or about $130,000, for special effect. Together, we have changed lives, supported countless young people, and given our charity partners a legacy to help them in their future. To top it all, we are humbled to receive 3 awards for the work we have done together. Prince's Trust's Innovation Award, the Games Industry Up's Corporate Social Responsibility Award, and the Corporate Partner of the Year with CPSL Mind in the East of England. We've achieved this together, and these awards for all of us, you should feel all extremely proud. In our 2019 and 2020 plans, we are happy to announce that we will continue our focus on mental health awareness for the next 2 years. Our charity partners will be local CPSL Mind to continue the work we have begun and help grow the success of their massively impact Stop Suicide campaign. The National Prince's Trust, we want to help even more young people to skill up and receive mental health support. And international, we want to partner with RRMan, a California-based nonprofit that has directly funded mental health care costs for 28,000 gamers in the last 3 years. We are incredibly excited to work with RRMan, which is a chance to respond to community feedback and support a nonprofit organized based in the U.S. RuneScape's next in-game event kicks off on April 15th, with all funds raised going to CPSL Mine and the Prince's Trust. You can read some details about this in the April month ahead, although more detailed posts will appear on the site early next week. Unfortunately, it was a little too late to add RRMan to the in-game event in April, but rest assured that all other events we raise will have that included. There will be a second in-game RuneScape event in November. In addition, now we have donation buttons for our Jagex charitable giving webpage, making it easier than ever for you to lend your support. We will keep you updated on our progress and funds raised. Once again, we thank you to all of you for your most fantastic support that you have given on charity partners. We couldn't do it without you.
And just on top of that, let's not forget, Oz. I mean, everyone is constantly on Jagex's back about the money that they're making and such. But let's not forget all these charities they do. Also, there was a Twitch streamer last year who ripped off a couple of $1,000. He was did a Twitch stream for nothing to do with Jagex themselves, other than he was playing RuneScape and getting his viewers to donate. When that guy has ripped them off, they have turned around, dug into their own pockets, pulled that money out, and paid that charity that he was supposed to donate the money to.
Yeah, just for the
they had no obligation whatsoever to do that, but they have turned around and done that. So, as much as everyone sits there and bags them, and corporate greed and all this type of stuff, to do things like that, it's
what's going on, Fatty?
You've got to give them kudos for that type of stuff.
Yeah. You do. You certainly do. Continuing on. Song of Saron weekend announcement. We got another little event going on here. The Song of Saron can be heard. Did you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, the TLDW. I don't think you've actually popped that into the list. Yeah, so we'll jump into that after you do.
No, just get it in there. Let's get that in there.
Okay.
Let's do the TLDW first.
Yep. So again, up by Biome Rubik. It was mainly featured on the Elite Dungeon, Loot 1000, Seru, BSD, and the Ambassador. The content shown off on stream, has yet to be quality checked. So some of the issues may appear. Now, scales from the Blackstone Dragon are either going to be sorted, removed, or fixed. So they don't know what they're doing yet. The drop in quality of life improvements will be coming out on Monday, April 15th at this moment. That is what they're planning for. The Yak Island is an island in the game where hidden familiars are teleported to, and it's a small, tight, cramped cage on a lonely island. So obviously that's just a little bit of a joke lore thing that they included in there. So basically the general information that come out of it, ED3 bosses and trash mobs are having their drop tables improved. Duo groups now have a dedicated drop table in all elite dungeons. And since damage scaling by group size was added in ED3, we applied it to every boss, allowing for drops per group size to be added. Duo is easier than solo, so it will drop fairly low on the curve, but we will keep an eye on it. Lottery drops have been added to ED3 to improve the rewards for players who aren't getting crossbow pieces. This was only implemented since ED1 and ED2 players could consistently get the main rewards. ED1 trio scale drop rates have been improved. ED3 non-main loot rates. These are obviously drops that don't contain a crossbow piece. Currently, the average loot per kill is about 900k. The expected change once they implement all these changes, loot will be about 1.65 per kill.
Maybe I'll go back.
So, yeah. And I think, what is about 20 minutes to go through? So, that's a couple of mil an hour. New drops that they are adding are Battle Staves, Water Talisman, more Salvage, Black Dragon Hide, and Triskelion Keys. The Crystal Keys base drops are 1 in 16 or 1 in 20. More lottery drops, which is the high-valued non-main drops. Change drops, Rune Salvage base drop 28 plus random up to 30. Rune Salvage lottery drop 100. Bolt tips is an increased chance. Arrows have an increased chance. And the arrow lottery drop from 1 in 50. You get a 1 in 50 chance of 300 arrows. So just some of the new changes that are coming in there. And the main drop rates, crossbow pieces. Pieces will rotate in order after obtaining one. So solo will be 1 in 55. Duo, 1 in 167 kills. And trio, 1 in 266 kills. The Barge Codex, solo, again, 1 in 100. Duo, 1 in 176. And trio will be 1 in 250. Moving on to quality of life. Now, these things are expected to come out on Monday, April 15th. T92 armor changes. The Elite Tectonic Edition will increase the damage bonus of your Sunshine ability by 3% per piece. The Elite Serenic Edition will increase your damage bonus of your Death Swiftness ability by 3% per piece. So if you upgrade your Tectonic and Serenics to the tier 92, obviously you are getting sort of a bit more of a bonus there. Players can repair any version of the gear, no longer just dyed versions, by using the appropriate materials on the armor. Chest changes. Players can teleport to any of the elite dungeons via the entrance chest from any other elite dungeon.
Good.
Combat dummies can be placed within a certain range of chests. Elite dungeon chest upgrade. Once upgraded, chests inside elite dungeons will allow banking and always grant the 20% double loot chance on bosses. It will cost you 750,000 dungeoneering tokens. Also requires the completion of Curse of the Black Stone, which is the latest quest that they've just released. The reward shops, they're going to combine all the unique reward shops from each location into the same shop. So that's another one. You can just get it from the one shop rather than having to go to each individual one. It's so annoying. Much better update there. Now, some discussion points that come out of it. The non-degrade on Reaper/Slayer creatures will remain exclusive to the trimmed masterwork, which is exclusive to smithing. There was a lot of people sort of jumping up and down and wanting that for the Serenic and Tectonic as well, but they did say no to that. If it was applied to all T92, it would make it difficult to balance T95 armor in the long term without including it. So obviously plans are in the future for T95 armor, and they're sort of thinking ahead a little bit more now, which is great to see.
That's a first.
Chest banking wasn't something we wanted to do, but since people teleport out all the time, it isn't bad to have. There are worries that combat dummies could be used to grief people. We labelled a few areas in each dungeon as anti-grief areas near chests where players can place these dummies. So you can't place your dummies too close to the banking chest, just to help in that anti-griefing method. So some nice changes coming in out of this. And of course, people still complaining that it's costing me too much to use all that equipment. So don't use your T92 equipment down there if you're worried about the costs. Go with T90, go with T85s. There's plenty of other things out there. Yep, there's plenty of other things out there. If you're worried about the cost of your repairs, you're using the wrong equipment, in all honesty.
I'll be right back.
Yep. So yeah, basically that's what we have coming in, hopefully on Monday. That was from this week's TLDW. Now, as Mage was talking, the Song of Saron weekend announcement. The Song of Saron can again be heard in Gielinor, but this time it's not restricted to Pyrnassius. XP hunters, get ready, as a fantastic opportunity to grab some extra experience rapidly approaches. From May 10th to May 13th, the Song of Saron will call out across the entire game world. Each song will herald a focus on one of our 4 sets of skills: support, combat, gathering, and artisan. Once called, players will have 2 hours to make the most of a 1.5 XP gain in the activated skill. Then, after 2 hours, Saron's song changes and new skills come into play. So it's actually going to be... Whereas Song of Saron in Pyrnassius is 1.2, you're actually going to be getting 1.5. So a 50% XP bonus is that. So I hope that they replace double XP weekends with these.
Yeah.
If they are going to be introducing these more, I mean, this is great. And you're bouncing from skill to skill. So, you're not just going to have someone there doing 100 million sort of summoning XP in a whole weekend, because you got 2 hours, then you go to the next one and to the next one.
Oh, you're talking about the song thing?
Song of Saron, yeah.
Yeah.
So really, I really do like this idea that they're coming out with for this one.
I think it's a really cool idea. I don't think it's going to replace bonus XP weekends. But...
No, it won't, no. But, It's really interesting to see, and I think it's sort of those great ideas that they sort of come up with occasionally that, I think will have full support from just about everyone in game.
Yeah.
Now, here's what each set of the skill perks is going to offer. Support skills, no XP penalty for dying in dungeoneering, increased loot and chance of getting totems while safe cracking, and all Slayer tasks will act as if you have a VIP ticket. So you'll get a choice on your Slayer task without having to worry about wasting your tickets. In combat, you'll get an extra +1 to all charm drops, decreased cost of instances, and 1 auto resurrection to full health per run in elite dungeons. In Gathering, you'll get a 10% chance not to deplete Uncharted Island resources. Training hotspots in the Hall of Memories won't move as often. And 10% more beams from selling items. And for Artisans, you'll have a reduced chance of burning food, 2.5% chance of saving a secondary when making potions, and increased node spawns and double rewards in the Rune Span. Song of Saron is a superb chance for players to group up and swarm away from point to point, taking advantage of XP goodness. We love seeing the communities that form in the hunt for Saron's bonuses, so get that chat box primed and ready. Of course, none of this addresses why Saron has called out far across the land. What is it that she fears, we wonder? Those interested in digging a little deeper should have a word with Endweir, the emissary of Saron, who will be lurking around Burthorpe. So they're going to actually introduce a little bit of lore with it as well, which is another fantastic thing. So... really, really looking forward to what happens here. And that is basically it. So what do you guys think of the Song of Saron?
It sounds like summer winter weekends. Only in the spring, summer, winter, spring weekends. So I'm into it. I like it. I'm always down for bonus type things.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Get people to jump around and move around all over the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Getting people to interact with each other in a single location. And, it's that idea of making the game world feel alive like Eve, I think it's a good idea.
And that's why it gets people out of Prifddinas and training on other things.
That's the great thing. It's like, hey, it's the Song of Saron. It's almost kind of like that tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, we know you're in we know you're in Prifddinas, so we're going to take the Song of Saron, we're going to put it somewhere else.
And that's
like
great,
that.
yeah. And 1.5% chance. So normal Song of Saron's 1.2. So 1.5%. I think it's a great idea, and I'd love to see these type of things sort of happening for people. It's I think it's a great idea. And these are little things that they can just throw in there when they do a mod event too. So, hey, come down here. We'll do a Song of Saron event down here. Just do it for a day or half a day, or even if they just do a 3 or 4 hour thing. It's this is something that they can sort of utilize in other areas of the game, sort of going forward as well. So great to see.
It's good, yeah. I like it. Hey, Wolves, how you going? So this next post is something from like an action spy movie or something. I'm into it. So this has been misconstrued left, right, center, up, down, diagonal, 7 different ways to China. No pun intended. So I'll read this. This is called Jagex appears before the UK Parliamentary Inquiry. It says, today, Neil McClarty, VP, Growth and Product Services, and Kelvin Plummer, Director of Player Experience from Jagex, appeared before members of Parliament and the UK Parliament's Digital Culture, Media and Sports Committee. This is part of the work and our UK's lawmakers do that looks into certain key issues. Jagex were appearing to discuss the immersive and addictive technologies. MTX as a form of gambling has caught the attention of the select committee, who are collecting evidence as part of an investigation into the practice. Jagex are one of the studios attending, which is good because some of the studios simply ignore the invitation and refuse to speak. There are some interesting issues that came out as a part of the session, detailed below. These are my rough notes of the proceeding and are not chronological of the discussion. A full replay of the proceeding is available on the Parliament website, and maybe just under 2 hours in total. It is probably not as good as the Q&A transcript. Overall, I am disappointed in Jagex's showing. Addiction to gaming, specifically RuneScape, was completely denied by Jagex. The microtransaction amounts people can spend, $5,000 a month cap, is ridiculous and do not offer any protections to those who may be gambling addicts. Jagex could not provide evidence of what it is doing to proactively address serious issues of addiction and mental health. In fairness, the collaboration with charities on mental health is commendable. More needs to be done on Jagex's part. Time to up your game. So he then goes on to TLDW it, but I'm looking more to not do that. I want to read it. So, inquiry into immersive and addictive technologies here. Jagex answers are in plain text. General, let's see here. Regular players, 100,000 plus players playing every day. Average playtime is 2.5 hours a day for those who play every day. Average player has played for 8 years. Average age is 22. 2% are under the age of 18. These are really interesting stats we're getting right now. Pay attention.
I just want to also point out, though, that when they say that $5,000 limit, they're one of the few companies that actually do put a spend limit on. For starters, the 5,000 might be sort of a little bit exorbitant, and they are looking. There's probably something that's coming about that. But how many people actually would spend that? There's nothing there. When he says 100,000 players playing every day, these including both OSRS and RS3. Do remember that. So in RS3, where you on a daily basis, you probably got throughout the day, maybe 40 or 50,000 players are logging in. So, do keep some of these numbers in mind that he is combining both OSRS and RS3 in these numbers.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Yeah, but
yes, they are. You are very correct there. Thank you for injecting that information.
But hey, the whole 2% of players are under the age of 18. Does that blow anyone else's mind?
22.2%.
Are you sure?
No, it's average age is 22. Average age is 22.
Oh, sorry. Average age.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 2%. No, I read it. Average age is 22% under 8. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, only 2% are under 18. So
how does that make you feel? That's crazy.
Well, they did say their majority of players now are in that 21 to 26 age bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Make up something like 48% of their player base.
Yep.
We gotta get some of these younger people in this game.
Yeah, the game is aging, and we're not getting any of the newer players, and it's a real issue.
We gotta get that RuneScape mobile out.
Jagex reaches out to players who have not played in a long time, limited by GDPR for email. What is heavy usage? Do players play for more than that? Yes, typically players go through phases of doing more or less. Quests given as an example for long-term play. Given that given that the game never ends, we have heard of people playing all night. Are you aware of people that play 10 to 12 hours in a single session?
Age bet.
It says here, it's extremely rare, infrequent, and for a small section of the community, and usually around particular content, such as new releases. Large amount of tasks benefit short playtime, such as daily, so long playtime is not rewarded in the same way as longer play. So, how do you feel about that statement right there, first of all?
That's true. People can log on and just do their dailies, and that's what a lot of people just do that. They'll do the daily shop run, they'll do the daily tasks that they've got marked, and that's it,
But in RuneScape, longer playtime is not rewarded in the same way that shorter playtime is?
What they're saying is that when you do those daily tasks, you're getting more XP gains than if you sat there and played 8 hours. You're logging in, you're getting the bonuses from that short daily task. I understand what they're saying there. It's corporate speak.
I know.
It is corporate speak.
I'm trying to string them up by their corporate fucking...
Yeah, but no, it is... what they're saying there is totally true. Now, is it effective in stopping players playing longer sessions? No. But they do have those there to show, so...
Sure, conspiracy theory. Jagex is not going to remove Dailyscape because it makes them look good.
Right?
They can't.
It makes them culpable. Let's see. MTX.
And why would you?
MTX referred to as macro transactions once scale of Jagex's cap emerged. Okay, I'm confused by that.
Well, the Parliament called it a macro transaction because microtransactions are typically $5 and under because of some of their thing.
Because
$450.
The funny, why I say confused about that is because I jokingly would call them macro transactions because yes, they're not microtransactions anymore. Those are not microtransactions. When you spend $50 on keys and $99 on a key package, that isn't a microtransaction, you fucker.
And that's exactly what these parliaments are talking. I mean, I've been following it here in Australia as well, and they're saying the same type of thing. Yeah. Anything that's more than $5 cannot be called a microtransaction anymore.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad to hear that. Some hesitation to discuss the business model first. It says 200,000 hours of gameplay content is entirely of RuneScape, 10,000 hours in free-to-play. I agree with that, yeah. First thing people will pay for is members. It's £7 a month or $11, £80 a year. Yeah, I don't know why the exclamation mark.
That's bloody cheap.
Right?
It's only $11
for all I know. For 200,000 hours, it's $11. Come on,
don't forget that, guys.
Annual spend on the MTX no more than £50 to £60 across all of our users. So I mean that's an average, I assume, right? Across. Across is generally is a word for average.
Because you've got people like me who don't spend a thing,
yeah.
and then you've got people like a friend who spend $15,000. But your average
you have people like me who spend $500.
Yeah, but $50 to $60 across, which is fairly standard, I would say, on a lot of games.
It's very interesting how they play those numbers.
I mean, here I've been playing Eve for what? How many weeks? 2? 2.5?
Probably 3 now. Probably 3
weeks, and I have, I have spent on membership and just putting money into their currency, probably about maybe $80 already. That's that's about
in under a month.
In under a month. That's just member, and that's just I bought 3 months of membership and probably a little bit of starting cash, and that's about it. So I could buy some ships. And that's it. Let's see here. For regular users, the figures. How much do they spend? $45 a year average of regular users of the 2.5 hours a day. Pardon me. So £45 a year is the average of what a regular user spends on microtransactions for that 2.5 hours a day. Is that what that's what I'm supposed to understand here? A third of that revenue is from microtransactions. 2/3 is from subscriptions. Gotcha. So the £45 a year was an average across all players. What is the average spend from paying players only? No details to hand, and not something we would disclose.
Of course not. And you don't. I mean, you're not going to tell them how many paying players you have. That is, that's a stupid question to ask and expect them to answer in an open forum where anyone can see.
That would compromise their business.
Exactly.
Challenged on that answer, do you have that information? Yes, but that's not comfortable sharing, not public domain, and not commercially sensitive. Damien,
precisely.
Yeah. Damien Collins, average daily user is £45 a year. MTX spend, that is commercially sensitive too, but you shared anyway. Why are you not able to answer the previous question? There's a large difference between users. That particular number varies depending on the player. So there's a large difference between users and that particular number. So that's the big difference.
And that's it. There are and people like a friend, and I think there's a couple of others who have done sort of those type of videos, which are crowdsourced. A lot of those funds. Let's remember that it is not coming out of their own pocket, and they will skew a lot of those results on paying people on those type of things. And we've seen on Reddit people who say, I've got a great job. I earn 6 figures a year. If I want to drop a couple of $100 a month on RuneScape to get my game along and keep enjoying it, I'm going to do it. That's the problem when you start looking at comparing addictions, saying, how much is everyone spending? What you need to do is work out which people are addicted, which people do have an actual problem, and what they're spending, as opposed to people who have disposable income and want to spend it on that rather than cigarettes and alcohol.
Right. I mean, that's very true. Where the vice is going is really up to the individual. But I
look at an addiction
my issue is just making sure it doesn't fall into the hands of children. That was always my problem.
And we have 2% of our player base are under 18, so bang.
That was always my issue. Hey, Pure Sushi. Funny you say it might be the Eve podcast. I'm secretly playing Eve in the background. Don't tell anybody. But that's why there's no RuneScape footage right now. But we're talking RuneScape. We're having fun. Still love RuneScape deeply. But yeah, we're talking currently the politics behind microtransactions in RuneScape, which is it's a deep industry issue. But Jagex is one of the few companies that actually showed up to the parliamentary hearing on microtransactions in the UK. Most gaming companies do not have the balls to even talk about this stuff to the parliamentary MPs. Jagex actually showed up and will talk about this stuff. So kudos to them, despite the fact that they are, starkly defending, gambling to children. But
well,
yeah.
And again, let's again. I've got to play devil's advocate here.
Continue.
When they say 2% of their player base is under 18, you can't say that they're trying to defend gambling to children when 98% of their players are over 18. Do we make it an 18-plus game? I don't think that's necessary. Do we need to curb and look at what they're spending? Certainly, but
and how do you
maybe there needs to be more checks in place.
How do you regulate? Which country gambling is 21? How do you regulate which country it's 18? Exactly. How do you, it's like some countries there's no gambling rules. It's
exactly. But yeah, and that's where you run into difficulty. But I mean, I just hate the fact that everyone seems to be out to just crucify Jagex for running a business model which is not as terrible as a lot of other gaming companies out there. Yeah, I mean, it's still predatory. Yes, a lot of it is still gambling. And, say what you like. Treasure Hunter, yes, you get a prize on every spin. It doesn't matter, but it is still gambling. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. But it's not a necessary thing to advance in game. You don't have to spend that amount of money. When we're disposable income and problem gambling is a totally different thing on spending. We need to, if they suspect someone who is a problem gambler. Now, problem gambling is where you're spending money you don't have to spend and losing it. You're not putting food on the table. You're not paying your rent. Your bills are going unpaid. Credit cards are getting maxed out. That type of thing. Yeah, exactly. If a guy's earning six figures a year and he drops $500 a month on RuneScape, that's like you and I spending $7. What's wrong? That's not a problem gambler. That's someone who's got disposable income. He's going to spend on something anyway. Why can't he enjoy his gaming life and do it on that? Anyway, sorry, I'll get my keep going.
Continue on here. So Damian Collins, MP, continues on and says, average daily user spends £45 a year on microtransactions. That is commercially sensitive too, but you shared that. So why not the previous question? So there's a large difference between users, and that particular number varies depending on the player. So is there a cap on microtransaction spending? Players can spend up to £5,000 per month. One instance of a player hitting the cap in the last 12 months.
And that was a friend. Because I saw the video where he did max that out, and he was complaining because he had the money there that had been donated to him and couldn't spend any more of it.
They openly admit here the cap is actually only in place for fraud. It's not even in place. Yep. And I think Iron Wolf actually said in chat a while back that it's not even in place to protect people for mental health, or I could be like having a manic episode. It's not there to protect me from a manic episode. It's there to protect them from fraud. But
that's every company that has a cap on that type of thing.
I know.
It's there for fraud.
I'm just being dramatic to make them look bad. Continuing on. It says here, how do you spend £5,000 in a month in your game? Cosmetics, of course. Cosmetics costing £4,000 to £30,000 does not mention lamps.
Wait. Are you...
What is it? It says NB does not mention lamps. I'm assuming NB is the mods. Go ahead.
No. NB is just note. He's just making a note that they did not mention lamps, and that again, that is where they sort of fall down a little bit there, because that 5,000 cap was spent on the lamp promotion where it was the smouldering lamps and those type of things. That's where those were spent on. So
that is straight up bullshit.
They also had on that same thing. They did have some of the cosmetics still on Treasure Hunter. That
is
it is straight up bullshit. But
yeah,
that is fucked. I'm sorry. That is just that's
like selling lemonade and putting like water and one drop of lemon in it and calling it lemonade.
Yeah.
That's basically when they said, we have a million players online in RuneScape 3, but like it was all old school RuneScape basically.
Oh, they've been doing so well this whole fucking thing. They've been answering the questions like honestly and all that, and
let's continue on.
Let's see how they go for the rest of it.
That's only one road bump. Yeah, let's continue on. Let's continue on. Let's see. So, what determines price difference? Aesthetics and animations, such as the cape. Okay. It's very...
Okay.
Why the cape, specifically? Are you thinking back to that wyvern cape you couldn't finish? Artists and designers work on this. How do you establish whether an outfit is more expensive or cheaper? Amount of effort going into the creation, artists and animations. What is the most expensive item purchasable? Pack of keys that allow you to open chests. How much? 74 pounds, which of course is $99.
Back to the truth now.
How many players spend £1,000 a month? Is it a lot? No numbers at hand. Not a lot. How convenient. No numbers. No numbers at hand, but trust us, not a lot. Not a lot.
This is like Michael.
But again,
Zuckerberg drinking some water.
No, come on. I mean, there will not be a lot of people who would drop $1,000 a month. Generally, those keys, people buy that 450 pack of keys, $99. Maybe they'll buy 2 packs, but there's not many people that are going to sit there and go and throw, $1,000 every single month at these type of things.
Yeah, I know.
But Pern, if you have 10 people paying that, it gets to 1,000 pretty quick.
I mean,
that's fine.
If I can find
10 people out of your 100,000,
if I can find 10 people to pay me £1,000 a month for my video game, I'll tell you what, I'm making that video game.
Exactly.
Anyway, why is £5,000 a month the limit? In-house fraud team, those threshold largely in place for fraud. Why is the motivation for limit only fraud? Ultimately, we recognize most audiences of adult age, and we believe for the extensive retained audience that has been playing for so long, the current thresholds are sufficient, provide freedom for players and people to do what they want. Accounts are secure and safe.
Freedom.
Accounts are secure and safe. If you listen to any of my show, clearly not. People have freedom for how long and how much they want to play. I think you meant to say pay. The average spend per paying user. Do designers have a monetization role to make people invest more funds? Team of 80 on RuneScape full-time, mix of artists and developers. Products broken up, so small satellite teams that work on individual pieces of content, which limits on... are there limits on spending? Is this standard across the industry? I'm not comfortable commenting on that. Market is so diverse and many ways to monetize audiences, and foolish to say what we do works for everyone. Well, hang on, I'm being attacked, so I'm just gonna quickly warp out of here. Before my ship is like completely blown up. But yeah. So Paul Farley MP questions on £10,000 debt from anonymous evidence received by a committee. A player, the Sun, racked up debts of £17,000 from RuneScape, including a bank statement of £247.95 spent in one day. Father wrote the committee about how he had to bail out his son with his life savings. Wow.
Well, let's pause for a second, and let's take the word "head" out of that. Like, how about we let the son make up for his own mistakes? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's one player out of all, and you're going to have that regard. So I mean, I'm sorry. We had an issue with someone who was coming and buying computer games over, and this kid was coming in and just racking up all these computer games and buying every week he'd be in, dropping, 20, 30, 40, $50 on computer games every week. And then his dad, after about, 3 or 4 months, has come in and said, hang on, he wasn't allowed, he didn't have the money to spend on these. And we're trying to tell us that we have to pay him back and give him a refund on all these games his kid's played because his kid has spent all this money. Sorry. Your kid comes in with cash and pays that money. It's... Yes, okay, that may be addictive behavior, but one person out of all your customers you have an issue like that with, I mean, that's a pretty good result.
Yeah, addictive behavior is a problem, but yeah, unfortunately, the problem lies
but
in the individual.
People also, but I mean, yes, addictive problem is a problem. Yes, companies do have to look out for it and help try and curb it, but they can't be held wholly responsible for things that are done over the internet anonymously. I mean, if your son? I mean, if he's under 18, why the hell does he have access to that sort of money? If he's over 18, why didn't you teach him money control when he was younger in life properly?
Yeah,
people got to start taking responsibility.
I feel like we're missing parts of the story. Like the father did this. I'm like he doesn't mention it, but I'm assuming this was the father's credit card that was used. Like, why would the father? So why would the father bail him out if it wasn't his own card? Teach him a bloody lesson.
Yeah. How old is the kid? How old is his son? 34 years old, and then he went and begged his parents. I mean, let's get some clarity and before we start crucifying Jagex for one person out of 100,000 players that are constantly playing the game who has done this. We don't know his age. It's an anonymous evidence.
Yeah.
So, hey, I can make up some anonymous evidence too and send it into you and take it as gospel. How was this checked out by the MP? If it's anonymous, how did they check it out? Give us more details than just saying, hey, look what I've got, and waving a piece of paper saying, we've got an anonymous thing here from someone saying that, they had to bail their son out for $17,000. Is it someone who just hates games, whose son pesters them all the time for something? So the dad gave him a couple $100 one day and the kid spent the money. So the dad says, oh, no, I don't want to keep doing this. So I'm just going to make up that, his 170 pounds he spent, I'll just make it 17,000 pounds. Let's.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we've got to. I mean, and I'm not defending Jagex in this regard, but we need. You can't just wave a piece of paper saying it's anonymous from someone and this has happened. Where's the proof? Where's the checks? Have you had it checked out properly and everything like that? Let's not crucify the company before all the facts are known.
That is fair. Due process is definitely something that is key. Let me continue on here.
Sorry,
a copy. Yeah. No problem. This is all rich, haughty debate that I appreciate. A copy of reply from Jagex Customer Services, which is very much a reply that says we can't engage with you because of data protection unless your son comes to us. These are tools for him to do things if he wishes to. What happens?
So he's over 18.
Yeah.
That's the case because the parent, if the kid is under 18, the parent has the right to demand that. So this kid is over 18 anyway. So there you go.
Yeah. So and he's taken his father's credit card. And he was put in jail, it sounds like, for the money. And wow. Yeah, I mean, his father...
to be honest, as you said, it's anonymous. We don't know if he took the credit card. We don't know if the father might have just been an idiot, paid the son off, because he felt sad about his son. And now he feels bad, so he whinges about it.
Yeah.
Whose mistake is it?
We don't know.
Yeah, we'll never pay for his mistakes.
Anyway,
exactly.
What happens in the company from Jagex's side in this situation? The father has a point. What does Jagex do? Won't comment on individual cases. Fundamentally, privacy policy and GDPR regulations state the owner of the account has to make contact with Jagex. There are limits that can be set on purchases and computer and mobile phones. We do private guidelines to parents, and on a case-by-case basis, we will decide on refunds and goodwill to players. Specifically, individuals do need to know what they can do and what their responsibilities are. Challenged on that, Jagex's approach is clearly for the Sun to sort himself out. It's not Jagex's fault.
That's true. People take responsibility for your own actions.
I mean, I have sympathy for the Sun, but I agree with the court in the sense that it's not Jagex's fault. That how can you? It's not Jagex's fault that he did what he did. But at the same time, I do sympathize with him that Jagex's system is, it's addictive.
Now, I also want to know, okay, he's racked up debts of 17,000.
I also
with 247 in one day. How was this over 12 months that he spent this money? Did he? I mean, he obviously couldn't blow 17,000 in a month because of the $5,000 check. So it's got to be at least 3. It's got to be at least 4 months he was doing this over. Surely if it was the dad's credit card, he would have seen something in that time. So obviously the son's got his own credit card. Where's the bank's responsibility for saying, well, hey, we've given you a credit card that you obviously are maxing out and can't pay back. So why aren't the banks being held responsible for allowing him to be able to do that as well?
Right?
Why is it Jagex's? Why is this 100% Jagex's fault?
Exactly. How can it be? This is the thing, and this is the fine line between, free will. How can you have free will as a human being? Welcome, Raiders. We are currently discussing the free will an individual has to spend money in a video game, specifically RuneScape. This is a podcast we're doing, Runescape Weekly, and Jagex went before the Parliament in the UK to discuss microtransactions, a very hot topic in the gaming industry, specifically, the online gaming industry. But not many gaming companies have the cojones to actually step up and talk to the MPs about it. Jagex did. And, well, they weren't very for the player, let's say. But they at least said something. And we're a good chunk through it here. We'll continue on. I would say that the Parliament presented a very specific case that Jagex is trying to worm their way out of due to GDPR regulations. And they're like,
but then again, is it very specific? We're missing chunks of information here.
It's specific enough that they're able to worm their way out of it because it's it's one, they're like, hey, that's a specific person. We're not going to comment on specific people. But anytime this is a human being who spent $17,000 on RuneScape in, it doesn't say like a month.
It would have to be at least, because they have a $5,000 limit on the card. So it would have to be at least for over 4 months.
So okay, so there you go. I mean, that's a ridiculously small amount of time.
But as I said, if it was the dad's card, he gets a monthly statement. He should be checking that himself.
Yeah.
Where's his responsibility for if his son was defrauding him?
Maybe he went
where's
paperless.
His responsibility? Well, then look it online. I mean, I check my statement weekly.
Not everyone's tech savvy, Pern.
That's their fault for going paperless.
Well, listen. Here's the thing. Listen,
and you don't jump online and check your statement. You're an idiot, and you deserve to get defrauded. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing.
It's gonna happen.
But here's the thing. Well, speaking purely from a hacker perspective, just for 1 second, all right? hack mind, right? You're like, hey, Dad, here's a credit card. Sign up for it real quick. Oh, what's the account number? Pop online. Oh, just switch to paperless real quick. He didn't see that, right? Okay, now I know the number. I'll just pop it into RuneScape real quick. He never sees the account again. He's dumb. You got a dumb dad, maybe? I don't know. And then all of a sudden, $17,000. Oops, I'm in jail. My dad's stupid. Okay. He bails me out anyway.
Is dumb dad Jagex's fault? No, it isn't.
No, it's not. It's not.
Where is the bank's responsibility for saying, hey, this hasn't been paid? Last month wasn't paid. Let's freeze the card.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not. this is not Jagex's fault.
It's not the bank. It's not the bank's fault if the card is 20,000 limit.
And
he hasn't even hit it yet.
All right,
exactly. And you guys understand this type of thing, but there's so many people out there who are just crucifying Jagex on this type of stuff because people just don't want to take responsibility for themselves and their own actions these days. And you can't keep blaming big corporations for your own stupidity for these type of things. If you have a legitimate addiction that needs to be treated, then yes, I mean we have to do something. And there's things to do, but
I have an illness, I have bipolar disorder. I need medication when I'm unmedicated. Treasure Hunter is dangerous. I've had problems with Treasure Hunter and microtransactions. But so is the casino. Yes, absolutely.
So is anything that you can go into is going to be dangerous to you.
100%. But, on the proper medications, not a problem. I hate gambling. I don't even think about it. Gambling is... I consider gambling stupid because I know the odds.
So, and knowing knowing that you have that issue and such, wouldn't it be reasonable for Jagex to expect you that when you are on medication, knowing that you have this issue, that if you do happen to go off it, that you should be in there setting that limit for yourself? Because I can go in there and set a $500 a month limit.
Right.
I can set a $100 a month limit. Well, isn't that your responsibility, knowing that you have this issue, to set yourself a limit so that if you do go off your medication and something happens, that you aren't going to be stuffed up like this?
Right. If I lost my insurance, right, or something, and I couldn't afford my medication, and I was in a really bad spot, and I still wanted to play RuneScape or something, it would be really nice to have the comfort of knowing that if I entered into a manic episode that I wouldn't accidentally spend $10,000 or something ridiculous. But they don't give you those options. I'll continue on.
They do.
Oh, they do?
Jagex do. You can actually set a limit for yourself. I can contact Jagex and set a limit on how much I can spend every month.
Okay. So
they do have that.
I did not know that. So, all right, kudos to them then. I completely changed my stance on that then. I did not know that. So, I mean, that coupled with the mental health outreach that they do every year then, I mean, what more can you really ask for? Anyway, because, I mean...
Well, we can ask for Treasure Hunter to be gone.
You could.
Take that gambling aspect out.
You could also ask for casinos to not exist. But still, it's going
to cost... Exactly right.
Anyway.
And then that'd piss me off because I love playing poker.
You could also ask for people to ban all dicing in the world and every. Anyway, let me continue on here. So, where was I? No worries. I just have to remember exactly where I was.
We're up to. Are there any facilities for people to block themselves?
Alrighty. Pardon me. Are there any facilities for people to block or limit themselves that gambling companies implement that Jagex could learn from as a best practice? Jagex is not a gambling company. They gotta get that up front. Service provided are only within the game and cannot be cashed out. That wasn't the question. I like that answer. Jagex has not looked at gambling limits or best practices. Gambling is not our business. Are you obviously trying to extract money from your players? Large purpose is making content to justify sub price £7 a month, I guess. Majority of the time is spent providing content. Some teams do work on additional services. Very much see ourselves as sub game. So subscription game is what I'm assuming they mean there. I don't know why I had a hard time with the word sub there so badly. Subscription price is what I was trying to parse there. There we go. So they very much see themselves as a subscription price, not anything else. They don't. So again, let's stop right there. Despite the fact that their revenue largely comes from microtransactions,
No.
Okay.
47 million came from subscription, 27 million came from microtransactions. However, the cost of running the company was about $46 million a year. So the profit did pretty much all come from the 27 million in microtransactions.
Oh, all right. So basically what was left over.
Yeah, but basically 2/3 of their profit was from subscription.
I got you. Okay. This is why we keep you around. All right. You say categorically that you are not a gambling company, but people are clearly gambling away their money. Parliament has brought down fixed odds betting, NB UK roulette machines allowing £100 spin that dominated the person? Is that what it says?
£100
per spin, excuse me. That gambling industry profits. Do you fall into that category? No. Items people are purchasing are exclusive to the game. Moving on to well, they are. You can't cash them out of the game.
No, you can't wear that armor in real life, buddy.
£100 per spin on a roulette machine. And a 99 pack of, that is a 99 pack of keys gives you 450 spins basically,
right? Like that.
So let's look at let's look at in context. Yeah.
Addiction, playtime, and mental health. What feedback, complaints for players, and other microtransactions? How is it dealt with? 25 complaints where players reference addiction. If a player got into debt, Jagex is bound by GDPR and cannot discuss a user with a third party who might intervene. Jagex would need to verify the ID of someone making contact. It cannot speak with third parties without breaching GDPR and privacy. Approach to corporate social responsibility. Jagex has invested in mental health with staff and charities, events in-game and about awareness from local mind organization. When individuals are struggling, we have been proactive. In addition, very proactively by the way of chat moderation and screening. Looking for references to self-harm and suicide, players can report and it is manually reviewed by members of our staff. All chat is reviewed 24/7 for all triggers, escalated to law enforcement if necessary, which we've seen, actively in chat, people posting kind of false positives of it happening to them. So we know it
and then people getting upset because that you're breaching my privacy by sending someone here. But
hey,
I would rather have them come here and the cops come here and bother me if I know that someone else is going to get saved.
And
they are doing that because it has been. And you said you're right. We have had a few reports where people have had them
better a false positive than
now,
a dead person. God, yeah.
This government is sitting there. Oh, why can't you do this? The very same government that has brought in the Privacy Act and this GDPR, you can't breach that. Now, if Jagex turned around and breached that, and say this kid who did the 17,000 and his dad had rung up and given him the information, obviously as we saw, he is over 18. If that had happened, and then the kid can then sue them for giving out that information to his father. So these are the very laws that this parliament is sitting there, but you should do this, you should this. No, because it's against the laws that you have instituted, and then we open ourselves out to being sued for breach of privacy by that very same person.
Exactly.
So they're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
I know. Like, the whole thing is a can of worms or Pandora's box. Hey, pick your analogy.
Exactly. We are really getting so over-governed these days that the issues like this are always going to
bring me back.
And then you then allow bad players to hide behind those very same laws.
Yeah. Let's see here. So Jagex was challenged on mental health. There's a huge potential of scale of users with problems. No kidding. Is there a limit of gameplay time? Can it be bypassed? No limit on gameplay time. Can confirm. 6-hour automatic log for all players.
Hang on, you skipped the whole section there.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. What did I skip? Approach for corporate responsibility.
Addiction, playtime, mental health, just under there.
What feedback and complaints? Okay, 25 complaints. If player got into debt, I read that. If player got into
debt. You did. Yep. Sorry.
Approach to corporate responsibility. Jagex is hired into mental health staff and charities, events in game and about awareness. No, I think I read that too. Yep. Jagex was challenged on mental health. There was a huge potential scale of users. Is there a limit on gameplay time? Can it be bypassed? 6-hour log time for all users, but they can log back in immediately if they want to. It's true. How many players play 6 hours and get cut off? Do not have the figures to hand, but happy to share after. Why 6 hours? Go ahead.
It is no longer 6 hours on RS3, isn't it?
No,
23 hours now?
It's 24. Yeah, it's 23.
24 hours now. Yeah, 20. I think it's still 6 on OSRS.
Oh, those cheeky buggers.
So yeah, I will call them up.
Yeah, they probably don't even. They might not.
Yeah,
They
so-
don't even realize the guy who's answering is probably still, still figures it's still because it was 6 hours.
It was
I
changed
think-
like a couple of years
I
ago.
think he knows, but I think the whole relevant point is you can literally just, as I said above, you can just log back in after.
Log back in anyway, exactly.
So it doesn't matter what they make it.
Yeah.
Make it 5 minutes. People will just log back in.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. It's you're just gonna log back in. If you really want to. Why force logout at all? Players should take a break. You are suggesting if players extend their presence in your game that there's a potential downside to long periods online that you are worried about. Not limited to screens of games, even reading a book for 6 hours, people should take a break.
Oh, that's a good point. They covered their ass there.
Yeah,
And you shouldn't do anything for 6 hours.
6
straight.
hours. Nah.
it's very true.
Shouldn't be on the toilet for 6 hours.
If you
Yeah.
are, see a doctor.
Right,
Get that checked.
Right, definitely. Not sure bookstores have that concern. The committee has heard evidence about long periods of time spent and a link to mental health consequences. Is that why there is time limit on your game? Do you?
That's
I
a
kind of
leading
want
question.
I kind of want to see this bit in the video,
Right?
If there's a bit, because it's like, hey, people shouldn't read a book for 6 hours. Guy snaps back. Hey, bookshops don't have that concern. Boom! It's like this is hilarious.
But why don't the bookshops have that concern?
Yeah.
I mean, I am guilty of this. I
Because nobody goes there anymore.
read books, and
I've listened to
got
books
the book.
now.
I sat down at 10 o'clock to read for 2 hours. Next thing I know, my actual alarm was going off. It was time for me to get up for work because I was that engrossed in the book. I basically read straight through till 6:30 the next morning.
So I just listen to books now because I got my ears and my eyes and my hands all need to be doing different things. That's my brain. That's how my brain works. My brain has to be doing multiple. Anyway, do you accept there is evidence of mental health consequences from addiction, or that's a dumb question, or is it entirely coincidental? You have time limits and links to mental health charities. That's just it's a low blow right there. That is such a low blow. Time limits have been in place for several years. We acknowledge anything done for a long period of time needs a break. Some users will always over-engage. Our responsibility is to make sure people take breaks and have a sensible lifestyle. Do you believe 6 hours to be a maximum reasonable time someone should spend uninterrupted on a game? We are comfortable with that limit. RuneScape is a passive game. Large amounts of time you can do other stuff alongside passively. You can watch Netflix alongside as an example. I like that example.
I like it.
Do you... Go ahead.
No, I know I fully agree with it because I quite often I'll spend more than 6 hours, but I'm doing my washing and doing the dishwasher, and I'll be watching a Netflix show while I'm just AFK mining or smithing or something like that. There's plenty. This is very leading, and this is almost entrapment. What they're trying, they're trying to get them to they're trying to get them to slip up.
Absolutely, yes, they are.
They're putting not, though.
All these little mines.
Yeah.
The question's I love this. Is that why you have all these links to mental health charities? Jagex. Is that why?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine.
Would have that concern, but anyway.
We'll stop donating to your charities because you're sitting there and accusing us of doing it because of this. So we'll stop giving the money to charities and helping those people out that need it. You as a government start kicking that money into these type of things then, and stop. And we'll stop giving that money. What does the government want? Jagex are taking some social responsibility, helping out something that they know is current and a lot of people are up in arms about today with mental health, and not just because of gaming. I mean, work stress and such creates so much mental health these days because of the new working hours and security of jobs, and the high cost of living creates all this stress, and that's why we've seen a huge rise in mental health issues. And a game that helps out and puts money to, that should not be being crucified for helping out these companies like this. They should be applauded.
We should sort of go back. We should go back to the start of this conversation where we started saying how Jagex was amazing for coming and talking to the panel about this stuff, and you start to realize like when they get questions like this, you understand why the other companies didn't come along and join, because this sort of shit, you get these sort of shit questions where people kill people. Oh, it must be video games. You get that sort of shit. That's sort of what we're in right now.
And that's the problem. You're getting it from people who don't understand the industry or what things are about. They're just out there to make a name for themselves and big note themselves and get themselves that 30-second clip on the Channel 9 news. And that's what annoys me about a lot of these politicians. They're not there to do anything. They're there to promote themselves. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Do you prompt players? Also, greetings, Travo. Hal, welcome. Do you prompt players to come back or make a purchase if they haven't done so in a while? Do not lie. I swear to God, if they lie. Focus is on getting people playing again, giving relevant content for them to engage in. Provide different options. Might make an offer for them to engage to make a payment. All right, see, they were open. They were honest.
Of course I do, yeah.
Would not be used to make someone engage with something they haven't done in the past. Focus is on getting people playing again. So, I mean, that's fair. Giving relevant content for them to get engaged in, providing different options, making an offer for making them a payment. Yeah, it's the same thing. That's fine. They're just hashing the same thing over and over again. They're basically just navigating a minefield of words. Basically saying we would not be used to make someone engage with something that they haven't done in the past. They're not trying to make you pay for something that you don't want.
They've put their hand up and said, yeah, we do sometimes. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hell, my local supermarket sends me things, when Pepsi Max is on special if I haven't bought it in a couple of weeks. I mean,
I bought keys.
That's what marketing is about.
And they know that, and sometimes I log in and I'll be like, hey, if you buy 75 keys, we'll give you 75 keys. And I'll sit there and I'll be like, and I'll sit there for a good 10 seconds before I hit that X. Because, it's hard, but, it takes me a good 10 seconds before I can gather the willpower to say no. Are people treated differently depending on how much they spend? If someone has sent on microtransactions, or spent, I assume they meant, on microtransactions on members, would there be a better offer? Not across the board, but there are situations where it is done, such as 50% discount on membership or a microtransaction purchase. You said game data is used to make offers to get players to engage with content. What triggers you contact a player this way? So what triggers you to contact a player? How long off a game before you directly contact them with an offer? It's not hard. It's not a hard and fast rule. Large amounts depend upon if they have given permission for us to contact them. 1 to 2 months after not playing is really kind of the ballpark. No point contacting a player about content that they can engage with. So I guess it would check upon the level of the account first. And then if they've made new content, they'd email you. That makes sense. That's kind of cool. Dynamic checking before they wouldn't email you and be like, hey, check out Telos. And you're like level 40.
Yeah, or you've never done a quest. Hey, we've got a new quest coming out. Come on, do this.
Grandmaster Quest. You got 30 quest points. If I play for 6 hours, stop playing for 1 hour, is it possible I receive an email from you and it's been an hour time off the game? Campaigns are manual. It is possible, but unlikely. Are devs encouraged to monetize the game? No, but if players choose to, they can engage with content and go further. They can buy items. Do you think games can be addictive? Any entertainment media can have immersive side, and it is naive to think otherwise. Is RuneScape addictive? No. Not at all. Very cognizant of addiction. I don't know how they. I don't like the way this is worded, but it's not. This is very cognizant of addiction, and we address 0.05% referenced the word addiction in correspondence to Jagex. What? I'm assuming they mean we're very cognizant of addiction.
Yeah. And they've probably had 0.5% of their player base who have said they have an addiction, and they've in correspondence to them. So 0.5% of their community has said that they have an addiction, and let them know about. No,
Don't
stop before you start there. No, they have said 0.5% have referenced the word addiction in correspondence to Jagex. So he's being truthful.
That's truthful, but that's not how addiction works. Tell me how many people are addicted to something that actually admit they're addicted.
Right?
But
that's
how
what
do
I'm
they
sorry. That's what. Yeah.
No, okay, but how do they know who's addicted and who's just got money to spend, money to blow?
That's what I like. This is
on the internet working at something. How do you know who is addicted and who's just got money to blow?
How do you know who is addicted? Exactly.
Without sending a psychiatrist out there to speak to every single individual player, how can they recognize?
You can be super
if a player
rich
doesn't
and
put their hand
addicted.
out.
Like, I
can. I can say addictive is an interesting word.
You can say you're not addicted.
What I'm saying is like everything that addictive is fun. Is RuneScape fun?
Yeah.
Hey, some people are going to be addicted. You can't say no with a full. You can't say no full stop. I'm sorry. That's a.
But you can, because you're saying no, it's not addictive to the general public as a whole. Whereas
I'm going to go get myself a psychology degree just because of these assholes.
Yeah.
And my thesis is going to be on
addiction.
Yeah, on gaming, on freaking gaming addiction.
TV is addictive. Smoking is addictive. Drinking,
everything,
running,
everything
running to some people. Gym is addictive.
Here's the thing.
I shouldn't even say fun. I should say everything that is enjoyable can be addictive.
My son had tonsillitis, could barely talk, was sweating, and could
tonsillitis is addictive.
And wanted to go to the gym and was carrying on because I would not let him go to the gym because he just felt he was missing out.
Well, yes. I mean, anything that releases endorphins, dopamine, serotonin is addictive. This is the thing.
You cannot. But for 99.9% of people who go to the gym, it's not addictive. It's just something that they do. You cannot categorically say that, RuneScape is addictive. Because no, it's not for 99.99% of people. Yes, it is for 0.1% of people. But he's asking, the way that question is worded is it addictive to the general population?
Wow, well, they should have said, can people get addicted to RuneScape? Probably would have been a better question.
And that's exactly right. It is the way these people are trying to entrap the Jagex who went there. And again, let's give Jagex all due. I mean, you're walking to here and you're going to get crucified by these ministers, and they still chose to show up.
I know.
And these ministers, the way they word questions and try and get you, they're snakes in the grass.
They are.
Every minister is a snake in the grass.
That's how it always goes. But when they start saying that like a 0.05% of the people mention addiction, that's they could have pulled out a better answer than that. I'm sorry.
That is a Mark Zuckerberg answer, is what that is.
Yeah, exactly. It's a water sip.
But I would say that is probably right, because they know it's about addiction. They would have checked that. How many contacts have we had that use addiction? And as we said, it's the word addiction. Who have admitted that they are addicted? And I would say 0.05% would be very close to who would admit. I would say
0.05% of addicted people will admit they're addicted.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So of people who admit it, then I would totally accept those numbers.
Do you reject that RS is addictive? Neil says, I reject that. Who's Neil?
Neil
just jumps in off the street to jump in.
I don't know why you put the name in, but Neil was the person who was at the talks.
Okay.
Thanks, Neil. Cheers, Neil.
It's like he hasn't been named this entire time.
No, I know, and then he throws the name in.
Let's see here.
Her name's Kevin.
All right, so Kelvin, We are not
Kelvin.
we're not psychologists, experts in a success. I'm gonna become one because of you assholes. Experts.
I feel like the point where they start doing the names is the point where people start standing up and like start yelling at each other.
Here's the problem. I honestly feel like Jagex at this point, and maybe all companies who are bringing in like 8 figures maybe should bring on 1 or 2 psychologists on their team to maybe help them develop their microtransactions. Only I'm slightly afraid that they might bring on evil psychologists to develop worse microtransactions that actually make them more addictive. But let me just continue on here. So he says, we are not psychologists, experts in a successful community-focused game. Tribal alignment like a football or a rugby club. People are passionate about the game. Not psychologists, but you have to accept you have a responsibility. People are running up colossal debts. You can't be passive. You can't be a passive bystander, can you? This makes it sound like there's literally throngs of people. Yeah, just dying in the streets.
We've probably got 25 or 30 people who have had that issue.
Yeah,
and he's trying to make it sound like there's half the community suffering from this, and that's what pisses me off about these type of witch hunts.
Yeah. Hey, at least when you play football or rugby for club at school, you pay a one-time fee for the year. Hey, just saying.
Right.
And then doctor bills for the rest of your life when you get concussion and things like that.
And the freaking quarterback doesn't turn around and say, "Hey, you want to kick the ball? It's gonna be 5 rugby points."
Right.
I don't know anything about rugby. I'm sorry.
I don't know sports.
Anyway, I don't think we are. We are a tremendous amount to try and educate and provide info to the player base. 2-time in-game events focus around mental health. 100% funds go to mental health charities. 3 charity partners have NPCs in-game. I mean, I'm not sure.
You gotta cover your ass when you can.
I'm not sure what the in-game NPCs are doing.
The NPC, when they have mental health and all that, remember those 3 people you can go up and talk to up around the language crater?
Unless those NPCs offer counseling services to suicidal individuals, I don't know how they're. Or are they debt counselors?
No, what they are, they will they'll talk about I think it was the CPL Mind ones. They'll tell you about the charity. They'll give you information about it, how to contact them, and things like that.
All right, that's decent at least. Is the industry acting quickly enough to address addictive nature of gaming, or are you denying the problem exists? We have a free-to-play game. What an answer. We have a free-to-play game. People talk with their feet. If players are not happy, they will not play. Not if they are addicted. People drinking don't particularly like it, but they still drink. Industry doesn't. I agree with this. Industry doesn't recognize the problem. Maybe. Do you think you are doing enough to identify the difference between a loyal customer and someone who is addicted to the product? So I do agree that this is a hyperbole, but it is. It's an interesting hyperbole because I don't think that RuneScape necessarily is doing the same damage as alcohol. But I have seen extreme cases of gaming disorder, if you will, where, gaming has definitely ruined lives for sure. And the game really doesn't matter anymore. It's not really about playing the game. It's just about being addicted to the thing at that point. They're not even happy about playing the game anymore. It's just about being addicted to it. So I understand that link, but at the same time, that is a very rare disorder. It's not a very common thing. This is not something that is happening at the same rate that you're seeing alcohol abuse disorder at. That you need to see Jagex answering for the entire gaming industry. Anyway, I can continue on unless anyone else wants to interject there.
Don't want to take too
No,
much.
Again, as I said, these companies, these ministers are just trying to, I mean, they're making mountains out of molehills. I mean, there is a serious issue there, but they're trying to make it look like it's a mainstream issue and not a very localized, small amount of people who are being affected by it.
But it could be in the future, smoking's going down, over time. And over time, drinking's going to be going down. I think at the moment,
I mean, eventually,
so the gaming addiction is going up.
Once you can inject video games into your brain, that's when the problem is going to really start. And that's, if you've played Watch Dogs, you've seen it, the future. But until then, it hasn't happened. Until putting a video game into your ear and you fully go unconscious and your life is truly disrupted by a video game, like your life is truly disrupted by a drug, and you become fully unconscious and immobile and that is when video games will truly be life-threatening, when you can no longer eat and become an actual object in the way, and when you're in your own mind playing a video game. That is when I think video games are going to become an actual danger to society.
You guys are probably a bit young to remember this, but we had this big argument back in the sort of late 80s and 90s about movies. The violence in movies is making people go out and kill people and do all this type of stuff. I mean, yes, it is going to affect someone. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a movie, whether it's a video game. People are going to get addicted because their genetic makeup, however they're mentally wired. We do need to help those people when it's recognized, but you cannot expect a company to be able to recognize every single person. You can't. I mean, the video store owner should be the one sort of saying, well, no, you can't hire it because, he can see the person. Is it his responsibility? No, but they were blaming Warner Brothers for producing that movie. You know what I mean? It's come on.
Well, hey, I don't know what sort of side I seem to be putting out here. I'm not on the side where video games are evil and all that sort of shit. I'm just saying, I'm on the sort of side where it's a bit of a out there sort of opinion, but I'm thinking you get these people that aren't right in society, that don't sort of might go murder people. Hey, you give them a video game, maybe they'll do that in the game instead. That's a bit of an out there opinion, but I'm saying it's not the video games that turn the people into this.
That's right. They're already that's
already in them. Yeah. So
they've got the predisposition for it. And I mean, I mean, you look at someone like me. I mean, with my back, I can't get out and do a lot of things. I can sit on the couch and watch TV, or I can sit in front of my computer and have my mind active and working out how am I going to do that, using my brain to sort of do something rather than just sitting vegetating on the couch in front of the idiot box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're engaging.
Anyway, sorry, let's
continue on.
Yes.
Continuing on, if I haven't lost.
So we had you just read the not if they're addicted, do you think some people, the difference between loyal and addicted, so we're up to his answer there.
Oh, goodness, hang on. I opened a different document by accident.
Okay, I'll read that part while you find it. There is evidence that there are players addicted to games, and on the other hand, evidence that this is not the case. Jagex are in the middle and are not the experts. We do a lot to engage with the player base and do the corporate responsibilities things as a business. The next question is, if you design a product, you have to look at safety. What do you look at the risk your product creates? Focuses around chat moderation, proactively looking for inappropriate conversations. There is a risk and there are situations where we escalate to the police. The next one is focuses on safeguarding, one element. Other is on data protection for user data. You mentioned you are not a psychologist. Would you be willing to share information with academics to carry out empirical research into this issue? Wholeheartedly, yes. Cooperation is a responsibility. So, they're saying if we bring in experts, but again, which experts are you going to bring in? You're going to bring in people who are papers on addiction of gaming and how evil gaming is. As a minister, they're the ones you're going to be focused on bringing in to support your claims and such. Psychological psychiatrists and psychologist experts. I'm sorry, yes, they're experts in their area, but that's an opinion. What one will say is right, the next one will say is wrong.
That's psychology is very subjective.
Exactly. Yeah. The fact that Jagex are willing to to put themselves through that, I think, says a lot for the company as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We have a sense, listening to your evidence, that everything you do is reactive and not proactive. Would be helpful if there was clear scientific research for new products to take the risk element more broadly into account. Yes. How much can you identify about a player from what you collect about them? Large amounts of data is game data, progress, content engagement. Payment for MTX is not shared or sold to third parties. When reviewed, it is on an aggregated basis, not individually. Does it not concern you that a business, you feel the need to give out mental health advice? Event business, I think you'd say every business needs to do that. Mental health is a growing problem. You think you are not part of the problem? No, 1 million players and their respective... we have 1 million players and they are representative of society. Whole range of positives and negatives, including minorities with problems. There are positive aspects to gameplay. Social skills, cognitive behavior, how economies work, setting goals and achieving them, valuable life lessons. We regularly survey players why they play. Top answer is a way to relax and escape. Then he goes back to the 6-hour limit on gameplay. What is the longest streak of back-to-back play? We don't have the figures at hand, but happy to share with the committee afterwards. In terms of addiction, is it about time spent playing? Surely. Can't comment on that. I'm not an expert. Genre of game is there to be intentionally immersive. It's a role-playing game. You can AFK. Game is like radio noise in the background. Maybe you should be experts. This is what you do as a game designer. Why, in your capacity, don't you feel the need to be experts in this? This guy is a wanker. I want this guy kicked in the nuts.
Sorry,
yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry.
Did they name this MP?
Yeah, they did. That was the. I think it's that where he's up the top. The original. I think he was the one just standing. I'm going to go back and I'm going to log on.
Is this Kelvin?
This is Damien Collins MP. No, Kelvin and
those are from Jagex, right?
They're from Jagex. Yeah, this is MP Damien Collins or whatever. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, where was he?
Pretty sure this guy's addicted to being a dickhead.
We are experts in areas, and we do a lot to make sure we are aware of consequences. Individuals have submitted evidence that long periods of time online have a negative mental health impact. Is the value of your company based on numbers of participants or how long they spend? Financial interests for players to play for as long as possible, for as many years as possible. Does that conflict with your comments that you made about caring about well-being of players? On one hand, you wanting to make a profit conflicts with responsibility of negative health consequences of the longevity of the products that produces the profit. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Does this guy understand business at all?
I don't think so.
I mean,
no, he's in public service.
Yeah, I want to know what he spends his money on every week. How much he earns? What goes to food? What goes to his bill? What he puts in cars? Does he go to a mistress? Does he have what's his sex life like? Because I want to judge what's going to affect his mental health. I mean, come on. This guy's just a wanker now. Sorry.
It's okay.
We're aware of consequences. Debatable that there is addiction there. If individuals do have problems, we support the players. It requires them to come to you rather than concerned relative because of GDPR. You can't react until a player contacts you. You don't really know how many players are in that slot, do you? Of course not. And their answer, no, that's fair.
Why would you?
How can they? Unless they send a psychiatrist to every home of every player, they're not going to know their mental state and things. Yeah. All they have to react.
Can you imagine?
Yes, it's reactive.
It's time for your weekly check-in. Like instead of like a rune poll, there was like a mental health poll, and it was mandatory to before you could play. You had to like.
Imagine if you're a car salesman, and every single person that comes in, you go, "I'm going to sell you this car, but I've got to send you for a mental health check first, just to make sure." This is ridiculous.
Every credit card that gets signed up for, you have to have a mental health evaluation before you can get a credit card.
Welcome to gaming in the UK. This is
I'm sorry, you've got more things to worry about than attacking a small company like Jagex, Dick. Anyway, did you want to keep going, or after the game data plan?
Would you like me to pick back up?
If you want, or I can keep going. It's up to you.
It's your choice. We got
you go.
All right.
Only a little bit left.
Job data team is analysis behavior. Commercial value is for you to make the most of data to improve game, as you aren't selling it. Yes, game retention engagement is key metric. No one will pay for something they do not want to engage with. No shit. Do you want to work with academics looking into analyzing metadata on game, such as psychology or addiction, social gameplay? If Cambridge Psychometric Center reached out, would you engage? Have you shared data before on aggregate basis? Not proactively. We have done on individual cases. At times, GDPR responsibilities might get in the way. Even pre-GDPR, we wouldn't have shared individual data. We will write data. Yeah, I wonder if he just used Google captions.
It sounds like it, yeah, because a lot of these. Yeah.
We will write to committee to explain any of the aggregate data he has that was shared before.
Kelvin's back.
Welcome back, Kelvin. Data used for detection of cheat programs too.
I would assume that they have two people there, and mainly the first guy was the one mainly saying it, but this Kelvin just pipes up occasionally with his little 2 cents worth.
Yeah, he's like the little engineer in the back. He's like,
yeah,
data for detection of cheat programs too. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Abuse of conduct towards others in game.
Sorry.
It's okay. Do you have abilities to proactively pick up on bad behavior, or do you rely on others to report it to you? Do you deal with complaints with 24 hours, or are players blocked? There are trigger pop-ups for bad behavior. 96% of complaints are dealt with in 48 hours, rather. There are sanctions for players. How many bans are issued? No figures off the top of my head. Daily offenses are around 23,000. Vast majority is related to cheating, 99%. Probably botting. Language is about 0.26%. Scamming is about 0.13%. Community safety is under 200 cases a day. I'm sorry, a year.
A year.
Wow. That's ridiculous. Are escalated to law enforcement. So under 200 cases a year are escalated to law enforcement. Why am I being attacked? Drones, engage. Community safety. So again, under 200 cases a year. Jagex will write to committee to state how many have been banned as a result of abusive behavior.
So I'll check that out and let them know.
Committee, please forward to RuneScape Weekly. Want details on abusive community members.
And I think that's general information that Jagex can share. What really annoys me about all these questions, a lot of the stuff is going, but you're not doing this, you should be doing this. But it's against the laws that you have written that you are enforcing. And now you're telling Jagex, but you should be doing this, but they can't because you've got laws out there that prevent them from doing it. Yeah, they're attacking a gaming company for not making mental health checks on their player base, but nothing said about the banks that are providing those credits and things to to people to be able to spend and things like that. I mean, it's, as I said before, people do need to start taking responsibility for their own actions. Yes, there are a lot of issues out there. Yes, Treasure Hunter is not a pleasant thing to have. I would prefer myself just to have it as all fully paid cosmetics. Myself, I love the chance to win an item. I would never spend money on those things in game. I'll either earn it in game, whether it be through spins or through gameplay. Really glad that they've bought these skilling outfits in that you can earn them in game now. But it's all about individuals, and when 99.9% of your gaming population aren't affected by it, you can't say that there. I mean, yes, there's a problem. You can't say there's a real problem. You can't say there's a huge problem. So just to go back, Neil McClarty is Vice President of Growth and Product Services, and Kelvin Plomer is the Director of Player Experience. So they had to appear before members of Parliament of the UK Parliament's Digital Culture, Media and Sports Committee. So they were the two guys who showed up, and that MP, we mentioned his name before.
Balls of Steel.
Don't need to mention it again.
Yeah, but I beg all of you, if you are in the UK, write to Damien Collins MP and tell him to ask proper questions and to if you're going to sit there and try and blindside a company, actually have the right information and not broad strokes and little individual anonymous things to throw at them. Have actual facts, have numbers yourself, and don't expect a company to be psychiatrists when. Is he a psychiatrist? Does he go out to his when his parliament puts something out? Does he have a team that goes out there to see how it's going to adversely affect every single person in his community? When they put that new stop sign up down the corner in his local precinct, did they go and check with every single person to make sure there's not one person who's going to be adversely affected by it or who's going to be upset? I mean, that's basically what he's asking them to do,
right? I mean, the overreach, the micromanaging is just too intense.
That's right. I mean, yes, we do need to do something about all this, but he was just going too far. Anyway.
Yeah. Continuing on?
Continuing on.
All right. So what do we have here? One small wiki favor. This is from the RuneScape official wiki. It says here, one small wiki favor is a project to improve the RuneScape wiki, where wiki users can contribute to a number of ongoing wiki tasks and quality for receiving in-game rewards, including bonds. Anyone is welcome to participate, whether you're completely new to the wiki or you've been here for a while. If you have not edited before, then this is a great time to get involved. To participate in the project and get bond, take a look at the tasks below and find one that looks exciting. Completing any of them will earn you a share of a bond. Each task has some advice on how to effectively tackle it, but we strongly recommend joining the One Small Wiki Favor channel in our Discord to coordinate with other editors, discuss the project, and claim your rewards. So there,
my eyes totally skipped over wiki. I saw one small favor. I said, why are we talking about this quest? I just totally blanked out on the wiki in that sentence.
Yes. So they're little play on words.
It's well played. It's well played. Yeah. It's interesting. I assume they update these tasks quite often. So that the moment the tasks are take 30 compass clue location images, the next one is take 30 animations, or retake 30 animations, stuff like that. And now I'm thinking, like, back to the show, your last show, and you were talking about the guy who was uploading the animation of the glitter ball.
Me too. Yeah,
and I'm thinking, hey, I think this guy was trying to get get into this competition.
Now we know.
Now we know what. Now we know why. Now we know why he was so mad.
Yeah. He was hoping that update was like, oh, maybe this is free entries.
Yeah, he was trying to get bond.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh, interesting. Oh man, it was so funny when I was listening to that show and I went and looked it up on the wiki page. Well, as I was listening on the podcast to check if he'd changed it back again, but yeah, no.
He's been blocked. He's been blocked from changing anything.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's banned for like a week or something, a couple weeks. I don't know. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did it to himself. What can you do?
Don't wear costumes. Just don't wear costumes.
And don't spam. Don't listen to the boss, the admins. Anyway, let's move along here. So gamesindustry.biz, we have some exciting news.
Actually, before you do that, I just want to... Mod Shawnee's just put out a tweet. Cool. Jagex Tomb got the crafting pet from Harps, then called Shawnee over to watch as he destroyed the pet.
Why?
Well, because Shawnee's after the crafting pet, so he got that and just destroyed it to piss him off. And also, congratulations to Mod Kieran, who's at TwitchCon over in the EU at the moment, who just managed to set a gluten-free bun on fire and set the alarm off in the hotel.
That's funny.
Sorry, I just got Twitter up at the moment. I just found those amusing.
That's good. I like it. Real quick, though, Jagex brings on multiple new hires according to GamesIndustry.biz and multiple other websites. I just chose GamesIndustry.biz because I like them. Says here, RuneScape developer Jagex has announced multiple new hires, including Nathan Richardson as executive producer for an unannounced online RPG, Pete McKay as director of community, Agatha Behan as head of CRM and player engagement, Mitchell Goodwin as RuneScape technical director, and Alan Krause as senior director of gameplay engineering. Richardson brings with him 15 years of industry experience in product development. He began his career in gaming at CCP Games, working on Eve, Dust, and World of Darkness. He has since worked on Tryon Games, Ubisoft Montreal, and Behavior Digital. McKay comes from 10 years of industry roles at CCP, Riot Games, and most recently Social Point, where he has the director of social and player engagement. So you'll notice here two of these individuals from CCP Games, creator of Eve.
That's what excited Mage most about this this post.
Yes, indeed. Behan joins Jagex after a decade in marketing in the gaming industry. She has held roles at EA, Microsoft, and Natural Motion. I think that means National Motion. Sorry, my bad. Never heard of National Motion. My apologies. Goodwin began in the gaming industry at Codemasters before moving to Sony's London studio to work on PlayStation Home, programming lead, and eventually lead of development. In industry veteran, Goodwin brings to Jagex over 20 years of development experience in development and management. Krause has worked at Sony, Tryon Worlds, and Amazon in various programming, development, and engineering roles prior to joining Jagex. So there you go. Lots of new hires for Jagex this coming quarter.
And just looking at their photos, I mean, a couple of them are you sort of typical looking, programming type people. There's some handsome looking guys in there and good looking women in there for
people that beat the shit.
They're not the typical people you would expect.
Brian
just cares if they're sexy. That's all he cares about.
I'm just looking down because you always have programmers look like, but I mean, you look at that Ryan DeSanto. I mean, he could be
looking down, going down, whatever you like talking about. Jeez, man, move it on.
Now we took one on from was his last job EA? I mean that's the most important thing. If he jumped ship from EA, I mean that's
goddamn.
Do you blame them? I mean, I'd want to get away from EA. EA season.
That could be positive,
right? It's a horrible place to be. It's a death garden. It's where studios go to die.
Yeah, I'm better than this.
Moving on, we also have a nice article about another newer hire that Jagex took on from their art director. This article comes from mcvuk.com, and it's called "Hard-Won Advice on How to Lead an Entire Studio's Artistic Output." It says, every month, Jagex's developers visit us from RuneScape's Gielinor to talk about their latest adventures. This month, Daryl Klulal, Senior Director of Art, talks about the challenges of art direction. At Jagex, we have a tier of directors who sit across art, design, and programming to ensure quality across the board by specialist function. We also assist with mentoring and training and help guide development. While these roles are relatively new to business, they have been pivotal in introducing new processes and other improvements at a studio, function, and team and individual level. While there are very few places you can learn art direction as a craft on its own, there are resources available to take learnings from, such as recorded GDC talks, roundtable discussions, and published interviews. These are useful for mapping out essential workflows and processes as to cross-check how you accomplish objectives against them. So this is, interesting to see here that even in the professional environment, you will see that these people will probably even, take the same approach that, I often find myself going in, like, hey, I'm going to hop on YouTube and watch a GDC talk, or, watch, a panel from, Comic-Con, or something like that, from basically from a convention where a talk was, at PAX or something, or one of the game. Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say here. Is even in professional environments, this type of stuff is still the norm of how you intake your information. Often the presentations and interviews are too perfect and don't show the trials and tribulations of achieving the result. They won't tell you how to evolve an art style from scratch, how to correct and nudge your journey through prototyping and pre-production, or, more importantly, give guidance on leading to a team and reach a shared goal. Learnings will come from being in the trenches with your team. Be prepared to learn as you go in the early years and improve from every game development mistake, of which there will be many. Get used to having team members expecting you to instantly know what to do every step of the way, and pearls of wisdom to fall out of your mouth that will fix even the most horrendous artwork. There is an expectation that you understand multiple art disciplines and have the ability to feedback at a craft level, as well as being a line manager, both of which require repeated exposure on the job and to multiple game development cycles. So again, speaking of mental health, that's a taxing role right there. First, directing. Art directors are either freshly hired or promoted from within a team of spearhead visual direction, or if you're lucky, you'll work with an experienced mentor or a studio art director, someone that you respect and can guide you along the way, support your decisions, and be a second set of eyes on your work. If you're in this position, glean as much information as you can and don't be shy about it. If you are in a smaller studio, you'll be learning through your own experience and using your best judgment to guide a project forward. Get connected with your other art directors, be it online or in person at conferences and events, as one-to-one conversation is the fastest and most effective way to learn. But you have to be proactive. Both time in the role and repeated hands-on game development will be your main training ground. At soft skill level, be sure to get regular feedback from those you work with. If you can get 360 feedback on yourself, even better. Using those soft skills is at least 50% of the director's role. Vision direct. If the easier part of being an art director is setting a visual direction, then getting the best from your team can be the hardest part. When you're part of getting behind a project and making it a reality, you need to engage with team members and empower them to add to the vision, taking your personal vision and making it a shared team vision, of which, as a director, you will be the shepherd. Over a career, there will be very few occasions where you can build your team from scratch. Most often than not, you will inherit an established team or join a freshly formed team with various levels of seniority and skills to deal with. Very rarely will you have your dream team from the get-go. But as an art director, it is in your control to level up those around you and create one. I am literally thinking of Mass Effect as I'm reading this for some strange reason. Like, this sounds like Mass Effect 2. I don't know why. I'm like thinking of the Dream Team storyline, building up like levels of my teammates and stuff. This just sounds really cool. As a young art director, one of my big learning curves was adapting to putting my trust in the team and letting go of absolute control. It took time to adjust to that approach, but it improved my upfront communication and my ability to set expectations for projects and deliverables. Top tips. Sitting in the director's chair. When I join a team or a studio as an art director, I'll put the following key points in place to make any team efficient and effective. Work with your team and lead them. Don't dictate. Align the team with your decision. Communicate, present, and feedback. Get into a rhythm of doing light touch, morning rounds with those work with most after stand-ups. Train your team to be confident and independent with visual decision markers. Ensure the roles and responsibilities of your leads, seniors, and generals are clear and understood. Have vision, set high-level goals, and guide the team to deliver against them. Don't get sucked into answering the questions you have set the team yourself. You don't have to be a master of everything. You have hired specialist teammates, so lean on them and trust them to answer the questions with you.
So basically that's Management 101 is what his director's chair top tips are.
Basically.
Yeah.
The delegation. You hired a team, delegate the tasks to them. But that's basically Jagex's art director.
Very nice.
If you wouldn't mind, Pyrnassius, this article is from New Zealand, isn't it? I believe. Do we
The spin-off one?
This spin-off, yeah, the spin-off article, I believe, is actually from New Zealand. Is the RRMan even alive? I don't even know if he's even
he's gone silent on us.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's alive anymore. I was gonna say we make him read it, but I don't even think he's here anymore. So anyway,
don't make me read anything. Pyrnassius can read it, and I'll just laugh.
Okay,
at it.
All right,
okay, I'll do it.
You grab this. I'll be right back.
No problems at all.
Take me a second.
Right, yep, I'll just quickly run down here, reset my Dark Beast because I ran out of pouches for my legendary pet at Kriara. I forgot to bring down extra pouches, so therefore I ran out of decaying up there.
Oh no!
So anyway, this one is called Free Armor Trimming: The Communist Revolution Inside RuneScape. It is by Emily Rocchetti, guest writer. So she says, before Fortnite, there was RuneScape. And well before RuneScape, there was an eternal class struggle. Sorry, my prayer didn't switch on. There it is. Emily Rocchetti writes, two collided in the most unexpected way. RuneScape was once declared the world's largest multiplayer online game. Millions of people were entranced by its blocky graphics and repetitive gameplay. Like many young people in the early noughties, I was naively drawn by RuneScape's promise that hard work, industrious labour, and a lava battle staff would allow me to earn enjoyment and success. Capitalism, too, has promised the workers of the world that faithfulness to our employers is the path to contentment. Yet the relation of exploitation between the capitalist and the working classes has led the proletariat into open revolt against our rulers over and over again. RuneScape, like capitalism, has repeatedly entered into periods of crisis in which the people have demanded change. And as I learned today while procrastinating, in RuneScape, just as in capitalism, the people have turned to communism to build a new world. An ancient fan wiki revealed to me the lost history of class struggle in RuneScape, and I now bring it to the world in hopes of developing our class consciousness as workers. In 2007, a communist RuneScape clan was formed to bring proletarian rule to Server 32 of the world of Gielinor.
What?
Yeah, no, what?
In a context of scattered clan infighting, the RuneScape Communist Party was a rampantly victorious social force. Under the wise leadership of Sire Zaros, the communists waged a revolutionary struggle against reactionary and Borgias clans that saw more than 5,000 player characters killed in the fighting. Where the other clans, though, were motivated by a base self-interest, the communists were driven by something more, something higher, with the weight of history on their side, animated by the might of the worker-peasant masses, armed with both the revolutionary science of Marxism and dragon battle axes, the RuneScape communists were militarily undefeatable. Within 3 months, the communists controlled 95% of Server 32. It was thus that the working class of Gielinor became, for a brief and beautiful moment, masters of our own destiny. The RuneScape communists quickly set about building socialism. They established a series of Soviets, elected local councils tasked with determining the needs of the working class. These councils appointed members to a people's parliament who deliberated the issues of the day and approved or denied the decisions of a cabinet of more than 20 ministers. This socialist government was responsible for planning and administering every aspect of the world's economy, redistributing wealth, shepherding the collective well-being of all. RuneScape socialism flourished. Sire Zaros, once the leader of a revolutionary army, was now president of a peacetime government. The world, for a time, was peaceful. This was not to last. In early 2008, the party fell into a period of brutal civil war. Excuse me. Led by Red Steel 136, a more junior party member, a small group of coup makers scrabbled for control of the government. After vicious brother versus brother, sister versus sister, and player versus player combat, Red Steel 136's plot was successful. The new leadership of the party found the deposed cabinet guilty of crimes against humanity, an accusation which history, unfortunately, does not illuminate either way. Sire Zaros, hero of the revolution, along with the entire overthrown party cadre, was executed. With Red Steel 136 as the new general secretary of the party, the communists pursued a strategy of market reforms to build a powerful economy. Funding the state from the proceeds of the sale of high-level items, Server 32 was a commanding force. The changes initiated by General Secretary Red Steel 136's were not only economic. Karamja is an in-game island populated by NPC pirates and, in hindsight, more than a little racist caricatures of indigenous people. The presence of pirates hints, I think, at an in-universe history of colonialism perpetuated against Karamja by the now communist-controlled kingdoms of Asgarnia and Kandari. In a display of admirable anti-imperialist solidarity between socialists in the imperial core and colonized people, General Secretary Red Steel 136 acknowledged the virtual island's right to a national liberation. Administration of the island was handed over to a Karamjan clan who have, unfortunately, gone unrecorded in history. Like in life in Server 32, it appears, settled down for a time after the chaos of the Civil War. However, measures implemented in late 2007 by the developers of RuneScape to control real-world money trading had set a catastrophic chain reaction in motion. Some light is shed on the disaster by Tanla E. Byler's 2009 thesis on RuneScape's relation to the non-virtual economy. Jagex, the company that produces RuneScape, needed to counteract the issue of virtual marketplaces such as eBay allowing the sale of in-game items for cash. In order to prevent players in-game from handing over valuable items for nothing, a clear indicator that payment had been received in US dollars rather than in Gielinor gold pieces, Jagex set the price of all in-game items at flat values. All items were then required to trade for a number of gold pieces, while a fixed range above or below that flat value. That value could vary up or down as the items were traded, but could only increase or decrease by a limited amount over a given period. The effects of the dastardly economic imperialism by the capitalist running dogs at Jagex were devastating to Server 32's workers' state. The unbelievably rare, highly sought-after items such as colourful paper party hats or the inexplicably priceless half-full jugs of wine had their flat values set orders of magnitude lower than their market value. Items which had once sold for billions of gold pieces were now impossible to trade, and because General Secretary Redsteel 136's market reforms had founded the communist economy in these items, the economy imploded. In October, the economy bottomed out at its historical low. Nevertheless, the Communist Party continued to hold out, hoping that the tradable price of high-level items would eventually grow high enough to allow for an eventual economic recovery. Sadly, this was not to be. In the grip of total market collapse, the communists were incapable of extracting enough tax revenue from players to meet the clan fees necessary for them to maintain power. As the sun set on the final few days of December 2008, after almost a year of working-class rule, General Secretary Redsteel 136 dissolved the party and returned power to the bourgeoisie. RuneScape's first experiment into socialism ended regretfully in the restoration of capitalist domination. This should not, however, be taken as a sign that capitalism is inevitable or uncontestable. The revolutionary fervour with which the proletariat of Server 32 ganked and teabagged their way to power demonstrates clearly that the objective conditions for communism in RuneScape can and do exist. She obviously has a different meaning for teabag than I know.
Power to the bourgeoisie.
Likewise, while General Secretary Redsteel's ascent to power came through backroom politicking and anti-democratic plots, his policies towards Karamjan national liberation were progressive and internationalist. The crisis which snuffed out the flame of socialism was the result of a concerted attack by a powerful capitalist foe. RuneScape's communist revolution was defeated a decade ago. As Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels taught in the Manifesto of the Communist Party, what the bourgeoisie therefore produces, above all, are its own gravediggers. Its fall and the victory of the proletariat are equally inevitable. The struggles we face in the workplace and in the family computer room result from the internal contradictions of the capitalist world system. The rich need us in order to exploit us for our labour. With nobody to extract profit from, capitalism could not exist. But we do not need the rich. There is no reason we cannot break the mithril chains of exploitation, come together as workers, and share in the sweet loot of our labours.
I assume this is a parody.
I would hope so.
What the fuck? What is this?
Bloody New Zealanders, I swear to God.
Did this really happen? What is this?
This is from the spinoff.co.nz, written by Emily Rakate, a guest writer, by RuneScape and Communism. How did the two meet? Very interesting. Very interesting.
Very bizarre.
Very, very bizarre.
How do you mix the two? I mean, there you go. I didn't know that even
she
happened.
did well. I mean, it was well written.
It was very well written. Yeah, I didn't even know that was that fiction. Did that happen? I don't know.
So there is a RuneScape clans wiki page.
She's named players.
Yeah. I know. Well, but I can make up player names too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we could always check if those players are there.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true. I can go hunt them down and ask them if that really happened. Yeah. All right, continuing on. I go the hunt for Redsteel 136.
Actually, I've opened up this this thesis. It's Jesus Christ! It's like a almost 200-page thesis.
What on
this person has written?
Oh God, I'm scared now. Are they like for real?
No, it's real economics in virtual worlds, a massively multiplayer online game case study.
Oh yeah, that's a real thing. That's all.
I'm just saving that. I'm going to read that later.
RuneScape. Send that to me. I have a smaller version that I was planning on doing.
Sounds about right.
But I want to see the big one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know you do.
Just click. She's got it. It's linked in there. The 2009 thesis.
Let me see.
Crap, this
has got the link in there for you.
Where is it? At the bottom?
This is so
about 3/4 of the way down.
Let me see. I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh, yeah, I got it. There it is. Click, click, click. Yeah, click, click, boom. Imagine if I narrated this. How boring that would be.
It's 183 pages.
That RuneScape Wiki clan was called the Clan USSR.
This thesis explores the economic aspects of the virtual world by exploring on a... I could do it. If anyone wants that, let me know. I could read this. Be a Patreon
thing.
Yeah, it could be a Patreon project. Like,
I just want to read the clan USSR that she had there. Their political structure. The USSR was officially headed by the president of the structure, but the general secretary of the clan had the most decision-making power, although the president could also serve as general secretary. The executive branch of the party was the Communist Party cabinet, which comprised the president, the general secretary, the vice president, the chairman of the cabinet, the minister of mining and energy development, minister of religion and science, minister of economic and financial policy, minister of unions and alliances, ministry of military power, ministry of agriculture.
You laugh, but this is how Eve is set up. Like, this is how like corporations and Eve are set up.
Yeah, but this is like a player has set this up as his clan in game.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's how complicated shit in Eve is. But like in RuneScape, nothing is that complicated. So we're laughing and like we're like in awe, and that's really cool. But
the parliament, they had a parliament which was formally approved any decision makers. They were paid 500p a day, and below the parliament was the local councils. They provided services directly to the communities, addressed local issues, and could pass along national issues to the parliament. So they actually had taxes and everything on their people.
So this was like a real role-playing community.
Yeah, wow, that is amazing.
I've always wanted to be a part of a role-playing community. Like when I'm done, I think that is probably what I'm going to do when I'm like 5.4 billion is just join a role-playing community.
That was a fun little read.
Yeah, let me continue on here, shall I?
Yep.
We're never going to be done with this. I got a one-off solution for you. Admit stone spirits were bad, Pern. Just admit it. Just admit they were bad from the get-go and just replace them with salvage. That's what...
Still constantly using them myself, but anyway.
That's what Shadow Vanish has to say. I'm so sick of this. So it says, my rebuttal to the inevitable counter-argument from all players is, quote, we need higher-level stone spirits. To that, I say no. This is the last thing we need. Last I checked, the stone spirits were essentially stackable incomplete ore. They can never be worth almost as much as the ores themselves. The highest level of what they actually are worth are only 2.7k each. Not only this, but more stone spirits of a higher level in the economy means more higher level ores. What the F are you talking about? No one asked for that. Shut up. His next complaint is, this will only increase inflation. Actually, this is sort of correct. All right, that's not even helping your argument. You're actually agreeing with that. So you're dumb. So he says that actually this is sort of correct, but inflation can easily be counteracted. All right, how? Originally, the reason why runite ores held such a high value was mostly because of the alchemy value of complete products. So the damage would be minimal anyway. If we really were concerned about inflation, which Jagex doesn't seem to be releasing tons of new alchemables with the dungeon trilogies, simply implementing a small tax at the duel arena can easily reverse half a decade worth of inflation. This is stupid. I mean...
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
The guy's a moron.
Yeah, this is... Do you know, like, that would cause so many more problems than it would solve by implementing a tax. Like,
just read his last one. It doesn't really hurt PVM that much.
Okay. It doesn't really hurt PVM that much. Just deal with it. No, F you. I have read it. I am just as toxic as that sludge your aunt brought to the Christmas feast last year. You forgot you left at the back of the freezer. And I will complain about stone spirits until and unless they are removed and Jagex issues me compensation for emotional damages.
So exactly right. Just another elitist, privileged, I demanded everything for me type person who doesn't care about the rest of the community.
337 of them, basically, that are just think that they're entitled to this bullcrap. Get on with your life. Continuing on. I couldn't help myself. I had to bring some old school RuneScape news into the fold here. Anytime there's old school RuneScape drama, I can't help myself.
Yes.
So here we go.
This is awesome, this one.
Jagex attempts to bring old school RuneScape into the world of esports just suffered a huge setback. The Spring 2019 Deadman Mode tournament concluded this weekend, although the focus wasn't on the winner or his $20,000 prize. Instead, game-breaking bugs and questionable intervention by the game's moderators got most of the attention. This event raises many questions about the viability of this game mode becoming an esport in any significant way. How the mode works. Each quote-unquote season of Deadman Mode tournament spans over a 3-month period. During this time, players train in worlds with increased experience and item drop rates. The goal is to rank within the top 2,000 players on the server. At the end of this period, these top players will then be invited to fight in week-long finales. After the 2,000 players are selected, the server resets and players have 1 week to train their characters. At the end of the week, players fight in a battle royale mode where they are pushed to one of the 2 final areas. In the final areas, players can both attack and be attacked by as many people as possible, fighting to hold a shrinking area. Once there are only 128 players remaining in each zone, they secure their spot in the final 1v1 bracket. Once there, players fight individually for their chance at a piece of the $32,000 prize pool. Clans ruling RuneScape. The game mode has several core problems, however. It is nearly impossible to play alone without any clan or alliance on the final battle royale. The tournament is dominated by clans who have live communication to call out when and where to attack. These players can identify who isn't a member of the clan on the minimap, making any solo player an easy target. Clans also hold other unique influences over the game. This year, the Future of Old Style clan, also known as Fools, organized a plan to defend one area of the map for the entire week. The location, Shiloh Village, utilized in getting Piety and Vengeance, 2 of the strongest prayers and spells in the old school RuneScape. Only members of Fools and individuals upon request were allowed to pass through the quest without being immediately killed. Setting players back is a core aspect of Deadman Mode, so this isn't particularly abusive, but it certainly makes relying on clans that much more necessary for players to compete. So it's not, it's really kind of crafty of them, if you will. It's devious, it's clever, but it's also
it's against what the game's intentions are.
Yeah, it kind of kills the spirit, if you will.
Yeah.
Anyway, half of the competitors deleted. In Falador, the city where half of the players would either be killed or make it to the final bracket, a game-breaking bug occurred. This mode has damaging fog forces. This mode has a damaging fog that forces players to the final areas, hitting harder the farther from the center one is.
Didn't they actually learn from the Hello we had on 3 a few years ago?
Yeah,
Don't use fog!
Right? You'd think that, unfortunately, 2 different games, 2 different code bases, just 2 different mindsets, apparently. When the final 128 players advanced to the 1v1 bracket, they were teleported to the new dueling arena. It turned out the fog was not disabled in this area. And that's exactly what happened in RuneScape 3. And in nearly every player was immediately killed. To make matters worse, in the final hour, account stats and items got deleted upon death. The game was paused for nearly 45 minutes before viewers were made aware of the bug. A few solutions seemed possible. Roll back individual accounts or the entire game state, reinstate the affected accounts, or postpone the event until all players were accounted for. Jagex took a different approach. I like that. It was like, Jagex decided to drive off the path. It's like the flawed solution.
Oh, God.
The solution players received was to be given new accounts. It's like,
oh my God.
Why?
Because it's old school. I'm sorry, but when you play on a private server, this is the type of thing that's going to happen. Sorry.
I need a sip of water before I read this. I'm getting like dizzy.
Do you want me to read on this part?
I want to read this.
Yeah, I know. This is awesome.
The solution players received was to be given new accounts, all with identical level 94 stats, weapons, and armor. Like, what the... Can you imagine that?
I know.
You've trained all month. All friggin' month. And you have just been replaced.
Wouldn't rollback would have been the easiest solution to this?
You would think. Just you would think. I don't like. Obviously, I don't understand how these competitions are. Like,
well, yeah, but I mean, obviously, again, we have another Jed incident here who did that to wipe out the competition for his mates over on the other side of the one, and then we'll just give all this to these people. He was the one. Whoever decided on this, investigate him.
I'm just wondering,
saying tongue in cheek.
Clearly, here's for the future. Save the game before the final battle.
Exactly.
Just save the game before every time there's going to be a big transition to the next big mode, save the server state. I don't care if that means there's going to be like a 10-minute downtime before there's like a transition. Like every time there's a transition between matches, like in the Overwatch League, there's a good 10-minute downtime. There's commercials. There's like, they do interviews. There's like, there's downtime. Who cares? I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Save the game. Save the servers. Don't let this happen. Anyway, that's my solution for the future.
Especially since this is the fifth one that they've had.
Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely not the first dead man, and it's not the first dead man that's effed up either.
Oh no, well, most of them are.
Most of them have messed up.
And Mod Shed, who was accused of helping out, giving out information to another clan who won that year and things like that. So, but I just like actually. So anyway, finish reading on. So it's
yes. Let's see. Every player that died to this bug every player that died to this bug and had above level 94 in combat stats lost their damage potential. Players who grinded for the best weapons and armor were given mediocre replacements. Many players were justifiably upset, losing weeks' worth of progress due to an issue that was out of their control. The issue commentators for the event explained that this fix was the fairest for everyone involved. The 128 affected players would at least get an opportunity to fight for a piece of the prize pool. The commentators estimated 20 minutes for all players to be restored and the tournament to continue, making the delay 1 hour. Players denied participation. Fast forward 2 additional hours and the tournament was at a standstill. Some players received new accounts to play on, including Skill Specs, a popular streamer, content creator, and live guests. Participation, at least a long delay was taken to ensure everyone could still participate, right? Not exactly. Many players who were still streaming the event, such as Mika279, SparkMac, and Abdullah God, were still waiting for any update on their accounts. They turned to Twitter to realize they were not getting that opportunity. Nearly half of the affected players, after 3 hours of delay, would be left without the chance to compete. Giving players underpowered accounts to play on seemed like a poor decision at the time, and this made it even worse. The players who were waiting in the second final area were taking their time to strategize. They could still move the camera and interact with the game freely, although they could not attack or move. This gave clan members more than enough time to look through every character and identify enemies. Clans made hit lists of who they could be attacking once the game resumed. And then, out of nowhere, it happened. Players received no warning that the game would be started again, and after waiting all that time with no update, it happened. More bugs, more delays. Players who did receive new accounts were given their new items in a chest that spawned in a 1v1 area. When the duels were about to begin, some players realized that they were missing items that were promised to them. The game was delayed while the chests were placed back into the world with the missing items. A bug arose that placed more than 2 players into the same dueling arena and had to be manually moved. Now the duels were ready to begin. But then the chests weren't disappearing before the fights, so another delay was taken to remove them. Players dropped supplies to pick up later in the fight. Finally, after 3 hours of waiting, the fights began. The cameras observing the 1v1 tournament focused on several fights between players fighting on these new accounts. The fights became extremely still very quickly as they were forced into one play style that was identical to their opponents. It is extremely curious why these fights were selected to be broadcasted and given commentary rather than the fights between players who weren't reset. Some fights didn't even happen due to another bug. Players realized they could teleport out of the dueling arena and be safe from the deadly fog, bypassing the duels completely. One of the players survived until the top 17.
Wow.
Broadcasted. So yeah, one player just teleported out into his player-owned house, and just
that is. Yeah, I'm just watching that. I'm looking at that. That is crazy.
So yeah, he just hid in his player-owned house.
No, fair enough. If it was there to be done.
Yep. And there was no check. There was no check, so he just hid there. Broadcast scripts, and you guessed it, more bugs. Scripts, bots, are a part of RuneScape, and that part of the players know about it, unfortunately. These scripts were displayed on stream during the 1v1 stage. Several players were shown to be switching armor and weapons instantly, which clearly shows use of macros rather than human reactions. One of the live participants, Manked, played against an opponent who was using these scripts and managed to win the fight. Still, blatant use of scripts in a tournament this size is something that should be on Jagex's radar for competitive integrity. Pardon me. It wasn't the end for game-changing bugs to affect the tournament, however. Nearing the end of the bracket, Manked was going against a member of Fool's clan in the seminal fight. This time, Manked was on the verge of a large comeback, and both players had no food remaining to heal. Suddenly, Manked was teleported out of the arena, and on the final 1v1 area, while his opponent was still alive. While Manked had the health advantage, it was clear whether he had secured the victory. It wasn't clear whether he had secured the victory before being teleported. In a game like RuneScape, all it takes is one big hit to turn a fight around. After a short delay, the players had to redo the fight, which ended in Manked's victory. In the end, the player in the finished clan Fools, E.O. Murray, took first place and the $20,000 grand prize. What should have been highlighted of the entire tournament ended up being overshadowed by way the tournament was handled after numerous bugs. I would agree. I didn't even fully understand how E.O. Murray ended up with the $20,000.
Because obviously there's the final four. Mank got teleported out of the final four into the final before he'd actually defeated his own opponent, and then obviously in the end, Miri beat him in the final fight.
That's just kind of lame. Concerns with Jagex. The fact that all of this occurred at the end of Deadman Mode's 13th season is
13 seasons that they've had, and these mistakes are still happening. That's bad.
Is cause for concern. There are serious questions regarding Jagex's QA process that missed something as blatant as fog not being disabled in the 1v1 area. Small changes were made, like item drop rebalancing and items being disabled. Images of a Discord message are floating around that suggest Jagex believed the changes didn't warrant a test run. Here's a message from Archie saying, "Invites will be out today. No beta this time. Not enough change to warrant it." On top of the bugs, there were serious issues with how Jagex handled the situation after half of the participants died to something out of their control. A 3-hour delay is unacceptable for any spectator sport. I mean, sometimes it rains at baseball.
Yeah. The 3-hour delay I don't mind at all, but the fact that you've worked hard, was it a month to make all your equipment and get up there and train it and such? So some of these people have probably spent, we heard before about, time spent on the game. A lot of these people probably were doing 12 and 14-hour days to make sure they got it. I mean, Spark Mark, there was a tweet that he sent out. 94 isn't 99, so he'd obviously got to 99. He lost his AGS, Zuriel Staff, Fury, Guthan's Helmet, Dragonfire Shield, and arms. He's lost all of that, and they all give him identical gear when they go back in and say, okay, go.
Yeah, putting everyone on a level playing field is not.
No, that's not the way you do it.
Putting hundreds of grueling hours into what's basically a shitty game. Old school. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Old school RuneScape's not a shitty game.
No, it's a private server game.
Yeah, I like to take stabs. Because it's not RuneScape 3, and anyway. But seriously, guys, what's going on? But 13th season, maybe that was the problem. It's the unlucky number 13. Was that it? Is that the problem? JK. Anyway, if the game cannot continue as normal at the end of 3 hours, rescheduling the event should be a highly considered option. But here's the thing: you have all these people that are there that have come from all around the world. That's not an easy thing to do. Like, this is a live event that you've scheduled. You have people, that are in hotels. Like, that's not an easy thing to do. I'll be clear. There was no solution for Jagex once the bug occurred. If you reschedule the event, you risk losing participants who have already altered the schedule to attend the finale. With live participants and commentators, this problem becomes a greater risk. If you continue on and act like nothing large happened, you face the scrutiny of outside looking in. Jagex apologized and said that they would address the affected players at a later date in their tweets. This does very little to affect and reconcile with the players that used vacation time to compete in the tournament or who put countless hours in RuneScape to set themselves up for success. The fact that many players never received any communication while waiting for replacement accounts is unacceptable. They had to wait on Twitter for updates on a general scale, hoping that they might be one of the lucky ones to be given a chance.
Why is this communicated on Twitter and not on their official forums, where they that they should have something set up for anything like this? I mean, we've seen every one of these Deadman modes. There's always been some sort of issue going on. So it's especially when there is real life money up for grabs. It's the 13th one. It's unacceptable. You are not preparing for anything. You are not, as you said, saving the game and preparing to roll back when something like that happens. I write my book. I finish a page. I save just in case something goes wrong. So I'm not going to lose all the work I've just done. Right. Yeah, that is. I'm not a developer or a game writer, but I know to say, be constantly saving.
Clearly redundancy.
Just in case.
clearly there needs to be some sort of redundancy built in here. If there's, I mean, obviously they didn't have redundancy built into the system because there wasn't a need. They didn't think that there was going to be massive F-ups like this. There shouldn't be massive F-ups like this. But F-ups happen. Yeah, like
you've got to prepare for them.
Like there, obviously we've had cases for this now multiple times, so maybe it's time to build in, redundancy cases for accounts going completely, bogus. Otherwise, you have actual people's time and effort on the lines here. No one's gonna want to enter your stupid tournaments if they know that they can just get all of their hard work completely invalidated because of one simple bug. Anyway,
and what worries me about this is because we've seen a couple where there's suspected mod involvement, and my first thought was, hell, has another mod got involved in something and done something? I mean, you probably that's nothing that happened at all, but because of what's happened previously, that's going to be in the back of everyone's mind as well. And then we start a witch hunt again and such. Exactly, because it's happened a couple of times before. You just don't know now, and to have something like this happen, and Modarchi's thing that he set out and saying, no beta this time around, not enough change to warrant it. Well, obviously there was some change to warrant it, but okay, that's neither here nor there. Sometimes things like that happen. You think you haven't done a whole lot. But things like forgetting to do fog resets, as you said, you must be saving that game every time you do some sort of change or reset. Okay, everyone's down to the final 128. This is where we save. If there's a screw up, we just go back. It's a 20-minute delay for everyone, and on we go again. Especially because it is the 13th one. You should have all those contingencies already in place. If it was the first, second, even third one, and something like this happened, I could sort of be more forgiving towards the old school devs for that. But the fact that it is the 13th one, you should not be having these screw ups anymore.
I do agree with
not like that. Not like that.
You would think there would be automatic systems in place by now. Concerns with Deadman Mode. The Deadman Mode tournament itself has had its issues. Clans dominate the game, and solo players are forced to take their chances at survival or try to join one. There is little incentive to play in the seasonal mode other than to place in the top 2,000 accounts or order to qualify. RuneScape already deals with the fact that PvP is half skill in switch gear and protection prayers and half luck on the damage table. Bugs will happen in any game, even with extensive testing. In an esports setting, any company needs to be prepared to address bugs when and where they happen. Perhaps the Deadman tournament isn't the best place for Jagex to put their attention. There are other PvP minigames in the game, such as Clan Wars, that may be viable for the esports going forward. The old school RuneScape player base is there. The viewer base on streams is there. All that is missing now is the well-structured game format and a well-prepared team to handle any hiccups that may arise.
And now, also, as I say, PvP is half skill in switching gear and protection prayers. Now, they've blatantly seen someone on the stream using a macro to be switching.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he automatically disqualified?
Right?
I mean, you've got him there. You've seen him. Why isn't he? We caught you. Bang, you're gone. And never allowed to enter another one again. Anymore. I mean, they have a hard and fast. No macros are to be used. If this guy is using and been shown to be using it on stream, why was he even allowed to get to the finals? Why wasn't he automatically banned and never to enter a cash tournament for Jagex again?
You would think that would be the case.
I mean, that to me is I mean, what's happened with the other stuff is really bad, but that is the most despicable thing of all this, is that they have seen him do it and let him keep going.
As investigative journalists, maybe we should follow up on that specific case and badger Jagex on that. Like, what happened with that? Where is this guy? Why isn't he banned? We have video evidence. Anyway,
you ban people for macroing for 12 years for doing something when they were 12 years old and they can't get their account back. You've got this guy on stream
trying to win money.
$10,000, not just pixels in a game. It is $10,000 cash that he's playing for, and you've let him get away with it. And not only that, continue on to the final with no repercussion whatsoever.
Yeah,
that is the most distasteful thing I find. And part of the reason why I hate old school. I mean, I don't mind playing the game, but I have just no respect for any of the mods other than the old one, the one who has his cup of coffee all the time. Modash, yeah, I like him.
Me too.
But I have no respect for any of the other ones over there because I just don't trust them. And when things like this happen all the time, and that's their response. I mean, at least when something happens on RS3, we get them on, we get proper apologies and such like that. It is really, really, that this is happening again and again and again, and and again around the. Said there's been 2 mod incidents around Deadman modes. It's been DDoS attacking, which has been
put money into the mix.
That. Yeah, they've really. I mean, yeah. We can't have nice things, obviously, because there's always someone looking for the shortcut and to cheat the system. But you need to come down hard on those cheats and really punish them properly. Not don't reward them. Anyway,
let's see your lasting impressions. The future of Deadman mode is unclear. So several content creators did not participate in this year's tournament, including Bodhi, who was a guest participate in the past. There will likely be clans with enough members to fill the server. The real question is whether the content creator personalities like Mika, Skillspecs, and SparkMac will want to participate in the RuneScape tournament again, given the way they were left out to dry. Without content creators and streamers advertising the tournament, the prize pool very well may not be viable for Jagex to continue on with the Deadman mode tournament. At the end of the tournament, the 6 live guest participants were asked for their reaction to the performance. The 2 of them died due to the glitch at Falador, and while Skillspecs was given a new account to play on during the 1v1 stage, Solo Mission was not. Skillspecs made it clear he was upset by the tournament. He had an account that was stronger than any of the accounts before and was confident he could make a run for the grand prize. When asked what happened, he summed it up as such: "I got Jagex," and I will play the clip. I retweeted it,
and that's and that's a shame because I mean that then paints RS3 with the same tarnish brush as old school RS, and that's what annoys me when they do things like this. Our game gets dirtied by these things as well, and it just.
This clip has been viewed 64,226 times, so it's not like it's been viewed a million times or anything. But I'll play it for you. It's mainly audio.
Story for this Deadman tournament. What happened?
I got Jagexed. To be fair with you, Chris, so yeah, I'm pretty tilted. I mean, no, like 4th time now. Yeah. No, when I first spoke to you at the start. I said to you I'm confident, best stats I've had yet. And then I think I'd rather die to a D spear than the old servers. But it is what it is. It's always next time.
We really appreciate you here, Skillspecs. Honestly.
He says, "I'd rather die to a D spear than the old servers." I like that. I mean, like that's how it is, though. Like you'd rather die to like an actual player than the freaking than a bug.
That's right. I mean, it's just it is. I mean, things like this should not be allowed to happen. And as we said, I mean, rollback would have been the best way, but delay. I mean, it is going to be really hard to sort of reschedule. I can understand that, but surely anything would have been better than what they chose to do. Especially when some players didn't even get another account. It's just like, what are you doing? I mean, that is, you want to promote this game and be professional. Well, you've acted like a bunch of amateurs, and no one would ever trust that again. I'm sorry. That's just like it's just not acceptable. Something like that. There's no excuse whatsoever for what has happened to these people.
Indeed. Hopefully they can clean up their act. Esports might not be on the table for RuneScape. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe they'll learn from their mistakes. Jagex is a company that tends to be good at learning from their mistakes. So.
Oh yeah, they never make the same mistake twice. The problem is what's the
There's a fog.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Anyway. Yeah, well, the fog was in RS3, so. But again, that makes me wonder. Well, hey, was one of the mods a mate out there? He goes, okay, hey, remember that happened over in RS3? Let's just do that again.
Yeah,
and
it was all a ploy to take down the big streamers. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but you don't know. You know. And because of that thing that's happened in the past, I mean, that conspiracy, is always in the back of people's minds.
Indeed, we're here to bring it to the front of yours here on RuneScape Weekly. Next up,
I've got 103 Runestone Spirit drop.
Nice. I have 11.79 thousand Azure Plagio classed. We have 2 more posts, 3 more posts, 3 more posts. I think yes. Here we go. Vazeth says, "Just stop this already, Jagex." He says, "Quote: I have a look at our examples and then come join the discussion on Discord. Your feedback has been invaluable and we'd love to hear more. No, I will not get a third-party application to discuss RuneScape when RuneScape has its own forums. Excuse me. I don't want to use Reddit or Facebook or Twitter or Discord. I won't have it on a plate. I won't have it, Sir Ham or Eggs. Sir, I am. Or any other third-party site program. If you're not happy with your own forums, change them. Or just burn them to the ground and make a new communication program." So he's salty about the fact that Jagex is branching out onto third-party applications. I'm not. I don't know. I am and I'm not. It depends.
I don't. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
I don't like third-party platforms at all. The only thing I really use is Twitter, and even there, I might log on once or twice a week. I don't have Facebook. I use Discord only sort of for this show. I mean, I log on occasionally, but I'm not really big on sort of the jump on and chat. I'll chat to people in game if I need to. But I mean, I like to go to the official forums to read things. Yeah, I'm not going to get bombarded by trolls and such if it's moderated properly. That doesn't happen on Reddit. That's why I hate Reddit. It's everyone knows I call it red shit. It serves its purpose, but I do think we need a proper forum done for Jagex, and we need to bring people back to its own forums. I mean, what I find most disturbing is when they have some big news item. Sometimes it doesn't hit their own forums. They've tweeted it out, or it's been put on Reddit, but we don't even see it on their own forums. I mean, and that's just wrong because that's where I go for.
Or it's so buried. That's the thing. Their forums have so many sub forums that it's there. You just can't find it.
Find it, yeah. That's right. I mean, it needs a total rebuild, for sure. And that is money that should be invested into the game. I mean, especially if they're going to be bringing out a new, you want people actively on your site so you can promote other products that you have.
Yeah, for sure.
All through your own site. I mean, they really, really need to do something for their own forums and for their own community in that regard.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
Continuing on, why did you nerf Life Refresh, asks Jeremy Chang. How am I supposed to kill Araxi now? What bosses can they even be used for? This should have been polled honestly. Like, if you can't kill Araxi without a Life Refresh,
then you don't deserve to have the kill, yeah.
Like, that's
Draco burns by actually learning how to kill it.
Pardon me.
Now, yes. I mean, the whole problem with this Life Refresh, it should only ever have been allowed to be used at the bank. You shouldn't be allowed to take it out there and just refresh your life sort of in the middle of a kill. That's how people are getting high kill counts and high enrages at different bosses and such. This is only a good fix. This is nothing bad about this fix. And for anyone who sort of complains about it, I said the same thing about Talos, that now that they've stopped using these things and death darts at Talos and such, all Talos kills should be reset, and you have to go and do it again. And do it properly.
Yep. I agree.
Because people have had 18 months. All Warden titles should be reset. Because if this was something that had happened for 2 or 3 weeks, okay, I could accept it. This has been going. Talos has been out 18 months, 2 years, something like that.
Yeah,
it's always been allowed, and now, so for 18 months you have allowed this, and now all of a sudden new players who are just getting who may have been training to get up to there and to want that Warden title now can't get it. The past 18 months of players have been able to get. That's not fair. So everyone should be reset and get it again. Now, players who can do 500% enrage to get their Warden title are not going to have any issue because they're going to be doing it anyway. And those who cheated essentially by using the Death Touch darts or use what was a bug, should have to learn it properly and do it. I think it should be taken off everyone, reset. I mean, they recently reset next time kills for the same thing. People had super fast kills because they had 50 people down there. So everyone got reset. You have to have 7 people or less in there now before a time is actually set. This is the same type of thing. Warden title needs to be reset. So to ensure that people haven't got the title unlocked via a Death Touch dart.
I agree. Death Touch darts should probably not be used for kill counts or titles or things like that. You want the loot? Fine. But for feats and titles, that's cheating. It goes against the spirit of the game.
Yep. And I mean, when these creatures first come out, you're not even allowed to use Death Touch darts and such on them.
Yeah.
Just for the integrity of the boss. So why are you allowed to get unlocked titles and such from them? That should never be allowed to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that the title is basically saying, like, hey, I've mastered the boss. Like, that's the point of the title.
The title, exactly. Yep.
So giving it away from throwing a freaking lawn dart at it is not fair.
All Death Touch darts should be there for is to get a kill to get the loot. You shouldn't get anything out of it other than the loot.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get a kill count. You shouldn't get titles unlocked or anything like that. It should be solely because you want the loot.
Yeah, it's just you've stored up a bunch of them and you're just trying to get lucky, trying to get a drop.
Yep.
Anyway, we got one more post to go here, and then we are
going to bed.
We're out of toilet paper.
I don't know what you're doing, but
It's been a good show though. Almost a 3.5 hour show. All right, so this one is called "We Need to Remove Treasure Hunter for New Players." Where were you in our earlier parliamentary discussion? First and foremost, this is not a remove microtransaction post. Well, I mean, okay. Well, he says, watching this video, and he links to a YouTube video, made me realize that along with the rest of the, quote, trying RuneScape 3 for the first time videos, there is always an emphasis on Treasure Hunter right from the get-go. Because that annoying shaky chest that appears add to the fact that many of the promotions are horribly balanced for the early game. You'll get new player coming in and gaining a bunch of levels right away, which calls into question for the progression of the game. The whole reason why we play an RPG to begin with. It's always a joke from streamers and video games just starting out. With that said, I urge Jagex to go back and look at how much profit from Treasure Hunter they actually make from players under 1,000 total level, and possibly consider removing it altogether at this stage. It only stands to tarnish new player experience, and if we plan on gaining new players from mobile, we don't want to look like a cheap cash grab. Alright. So,
now,
yes.
So I go and make a new account. I don't want to do those early levels. I decide, listen, I'm just going to, I've got a promo and I'm going to buy a bunch of keys just to skip those, first 20, 30 levels that are really annoying and such. Because I've done all that on my other 2 accounts, and I don't want to do it on a third account that I'm going to make to do a Twitch video stream or something on. But no, take it off, everyone. Maybe it should be an opt-in thing if you want to see it or not. But certainly you can't just take it off like that. I mean, it is a revenue stream for them. You can't just take a revenue stream away from a company. Do they need to be? And as we've said before, yes, they need to be looking at other things. And I think, with what's coming up, there may be some changes. It's going to be several years before anything really happens, sort of in America or the UK or Australia. We are fairly slow to jump on board of these things. I think the EU seems to be a bit quicker in deciding things like that. But it's eventually going to happen. But I'm sorry, if you don't like it, it's got a little X on it. Just click the X and take it off your own screen. You don't have to participate. Participation is optional. I mean, It's not like you can't. You have to use your keys before you can go and cut that tree, sir. It's nothing like that.
My main breaker for this deal here is the fact that if a new player comes along because their friend is playing the game and their friend is a long veteran of the game and they're trying to catch up to their friend, and they happen to have cash on hand, and they want to catch up to their friend faster using that cash and they want to skip the early game.
Yep.
You bar them from doing that
they're not going to play.
Yeah, they may just say, well, then I'm just going to play a different game.
That's it.
And then why do that? Or on the flip side, just take the friend out of the equation. If they just want to skip the early game and just play the exciting content and skip the early boring grind and get to like God Wars Dungeon 2 or even God Wars Dungeon.
Yep.
And you say, no, I'm not going to take your $50. And they're going to say, no, fine. Then I'm going to go play World of Warcraft where they will take my $50.
Exactly. And that's right. And that's why I think we will. I mean, if Treasure Hunter does go, we will start seeing level 60 accounts being sold, buy a level 60 account for £69, or buy a level 25 for £40, things like that. Where you can skip some of those levels if they do have to get rid of Treasure Hunter.
It's just unfortunately.
And I think you'll see people coming in for their friends are going to, or a returning player who, they've lost their account or something. I remember all that. I just want to straight up to God War, so I'll buy the level 60 account. It's going to cost me a one-off payment of this amount. And then I can just keep leveling and playing as I want to. But, it's...
When you're dealing with a game that is when it is 18 years old, that has a player base that is an average of 22 years old. I mean, we have the stats. We actually have these numbers now. We have the spending power. These are not. That's just. The average person that is playing this game has the spending power to put the money in. It's not like
and they have the intelligence to, or you would hope they have the intelligence to be able to make choices for themselves. You're not being forced to do it. It's not you're not your game is not stopping or you're not being prevented from moving ahead because you don't hit those keys or buy keys. It's your option. You can. There's a little X on the box. If you don't like it, you click that box and away you go, and you just play on the way you want to play it. If you want to take advantage and skip those early parts, you can.
Let's check out let's see what video he watched. Let's see here. We'll pop it open real quick and see here. It's A Lot Has Changed, RuneScape 3 Series, Episode 1. Okay. So he's just watching a typical video here. I just wanted to see what he watched. But, I mean, I understand his sentiment from some... some iota. It's tough from a skilling perspective, and it always will be when you value your XP to see other people taking, swaths of XP just, from the air when you are working for it. And I understand that. But on the other side of that, when the game is ancient and you have been around. Thank you so much for the follow, King Smoke. I appreciate that. When the game has been around for so long and you are basically a titan. Like, if your character has a skill total of 2,000 or more, you are basically a titan compared to somebody who has a skill total of, 1,000 or 800 or something like that. And they can't compare to you, and it's going to take them forever to get up to you. They can't play with you. All they can do is chat with you, and that might make them quit the game.
Yep.
So if them spending $10 a week to help get them up to play faster with you, or it gives them a hope of getting up to speed, then that's fine with me. I've given up on that, because I've realized, it's come to my realization that the amount of people abusing the system, it's for XP is just so
negligible.
It's negligible. Yeah. It is negligible.
That's it. Because the cost of it's just out there. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Again, if we take away Treasure Hunter, you are going to start seeing double XP packs and bonus XP packs and things sold on Solomon's store for those people. You imagine you can buy something that's going to give you 6 hours of double XP whenever you want it. The tokens. We've already started seeing something like creeping in with the portable Vic the Trader. I think that's just the beginning of that type of thing, where exchanging your XP. Next thing will be tokens to do your own, double XP hour or double XP 4 hours, things like that. And, I have no issue with that, because I know a lot of people sort of say, oh, but, high scores and things like that. As I said, unless you're in the top 10, I'll never pay attention to you anyway. I don't even know the top 10. High scores are long gone, because it is.
I'm more interested in rune
dynamic. It's never rune scores.
I find the idea of rune score fascinating. An idea of a dynamically changing achievement system. I like Black Desert Online's achievements. Black Desert Online's skilling system and the way they do their leveling and a leaderboard system fascinates me. It's like, if you're logged in, you're part of this. You are leaderboard, which I guess is extremely unhealthy mentally, because if you log offline, you basically log off the leaderboard. So it's like, that is mentally unhealthy. But so you could be number one if you are just gotta be logged in. That's probably a bad idea. Anyway, that is, I don't know. I hate ending on Treasure Hunter, but yeah, Treasure Hunter is it's a divisive topic for sure, but I don't think it's going anywhere. I think we're gonna probably see some interesting microtransaction trials
as we go forward.
This year and in 2020 that we should probably gonna look out for. And
I just want to tell people out there, I mean, they are a company. I've said it before. They're not a charity. They are a company that needs to make profit and answer shareholders. They need to bring the dollars in. It's a simple fact. You have a choice. You do not need to spend the money. You do not need to use your free keys. Just click the X. If you really, really don't like it, don't even use your free keys. Click the X. As soon as you log in, turn it off.
Yeah.
Once you hit the X, it doesn't come on again until the next day when you log in, after the game resets at 11 o'clock.
You can do that. Jagex says, "Speak with your feet."
Yep.
Anyway. Anything else you want to add, Aaron?
Yep. Play RS3, not old school, because it's obviously rife with corruption.
Oh goodness.
Other than Modash, I do like Modash, but yeah.
If you want to join me in Eve, come get a recruiter friend code from me, so I can get some Plex. I'm hungry for Plex. Anyway, I'm Magebit, and
I'm Pyrnassius.
That's not how we end the show, but anyway, you can find us on social media. We got lots of pages for you. You got a Facebook page, facebook.com/rsweekly. We're on Twitter as well, @rsweekly. We also have Discord, runescape.chat. Toss that crap in your web browser. Redirect you right into our Discord. We love having Discord people. I'm always in Discord. Keep it open on my computer all the time. Best way to get a hold of me is in Discord. RuneScape.video will redirect you to our YouTube channel. Twitch.tv/Magebit. That is our Twitch TV channel. Yeah, Magebit.tv also brings you there as well. We're on iTunes. We're on everywhere for podcasting. Kill, Skill, and Chill in-game for our clan chat. That's Kill, Skill, the letter N, Chill. We're also on RuneClan. That's runescape.club to redirect you to our RuneClan page, or runescape.expert to redirect you to my RuneClan page. runeweek.com is the official website of RuneScape Weekly. You can also go to runescapeweekly.com to get the patch notes of the show. Is that what I'm calling the show notes now? The patch notes? I haven't updated the
show notes.
I gotta update that. I have a bunch of show notes to upload. I haven't done that in a while. Been behind on that, so I will do that probably this weekend. I promise. Magebit.me if you want to check out my new blog. I'm going to be uploading some content to that this weekend as well. My first ever completely free to read episode with no Patreon restrictions whatsoever. That's going to be just an opinion piece. So that will be free to read on Magebit.me, releasing either Saturday or Sunday. I will release the article on my social media, which you Facebook, RS Weekly and Magebit, all that stuff. I don't have my own. Actually, I do at Running Shaman. If you want to follow me, no one really follows my personal stuff, but I never pimp my personal stuff. That's why no one follows me. So I guess personal plug for my personal Twitter, if you want to follow me, is at Running Shaman. You can also support the show if you want. Patreon.com/RuneScape. If you want to get the pre-show today was another beautifully long pre-show. It was 2.5 hours thanks to the RRMan and I. We had another one of our wonderful extended pre-shows. So,
and we did find out some really sad news for RRMan and his daughter.
Oh God, yeah, tune in to find out. Patreon, yeah, horrible. Considering the location,
Considering where she lives and all that,
yeah,
it's terrible news.
Patreon.com/RuneScape. That will be up very soon. $1 unlocks all of our pre-shows, and there's tons of free pre-shows at the beginning of every month. 3 months ago, pre-shows automatically unlock, so you get the basically last quarter's pre-shows just pop up. So that's pretty cool. If you want to donate one time to us, paypal.me is the way to do it. We really appreciate that. It keeps us going. You know, I'm hungry for money. I want to start advertising on Facebook, because we're trying to grow the Facebook page. We are premiering all episodes on Facebook now as well, basically a day after we live stream. So if you like us on Facebook and want to watch the show on Facebook, you can do so as well now too. It won't be live. It will be just like a premiere though, but you can interact with it if you want and stuff. There's polls, and I'm going to be working on making it more interactive as well, with like interactive polls and stuff. I'm trying to get better at being at tagging the show as I do it, as I go along. I started doing that today and then forgot I was doing it. So I'm getting better, but baby steps. Anyway, so that's that. Again, big special thanks to our remaining top Patreon supporters: Sudwood, Rick, Yay, Michael K. Thank you, top Patreons, and like 13 or 12 others. Thank you so much for supporting the show. It means so much to me to be able to do this show. I love it. It's a great show. Pern, you're amazing. RRMan, you're amazing. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. He died some time ago, but that's okay. That's great. It's great to be here. It's great to be doing a show. We'll be back next week to do it again. And, again, check out... I'm going to also be doing a new podcast, but I'm not going to talk about that quite yet. You'll have to check out the pre-show if you want to hear more about that. So, again, happy skeeping. Stay tuned for reruns if you are interested in reruns. And let me see here. don't have any friends streaming at the moment, so I will just begin reruns.